can I not hear you guys? All right. Why am I not?
You couldn't hear me because I did not have the correct mic selected.
What's
There you
new?
go. Sorry for being late.
What
Oh,
a
you're-
dummy.
you're
I'm
good.
so
Whoa.
Not like it mattered.
Oh my
with
God, I'm
this,
so sorry.
With this technical crew.
Wait,
like
what
it
is
would've
Ken's
mattered.
background?
We got to get on
Yeah,
the
get on this.
with the engineer. Who's the engineer running this show?
Gene.
You.
Well, you have to create a fictional off-camera character named like Kevin, the audio engineer.
Oh my gosh, look at this background. This is great.
That's super good. That is very
Wonderful.
nice.
I'm gonna
All
let me
right,
turn it off.
Let's get this show on the road with some Decanter Banter, sponsored by Decanter Banter.
that?
I'm going to ask you guys some questions, and
Don't
Maybe
do
that
too
was a
many.
better background.
you're going to answer them.
I think
Look
you
at
need to
that.
keep
That's
that.
fantastic.
How do I make my eyes turn freakishly blue?
Like bluish white.
All right.
All right, gang.
Is this our question of the day?
Okay.
Okay, you can both answer this one. This one's not fun.
Oh, here. This is better.
Not
Sorry.
fun.
Again,
ahead.
this is some Decanter Banter, sponsored by Decanter Banter.
Oh my God.
Is that true? Is that true?
It is.
It
true.
is, but just
No, that's awesome. Sweet.
What wine region would you like to travel to, and why?
The one where my kids ain't whining. Are you kidding me?
Good one.
Got 'em.
Son of a bitch.
Yeah.
I don't know, somewhere in. I just want to go to Italy, so a good wine place near Italy. Like I don't know.
I don't
the
know enough about
region.
wine.
Yeah.
My coworker, a friend of mine, he just moved to Rhinemunster, or near Rhinemunster, which is a German town on the Rhine River on the border between France and Germany. He says there is a wine region just to the north in Germany, and there is a wine region just to the south in France. So
So he's living a tough life.
maybe we could go there, and we know some people there, so
That'd
we
be
can
great.
hang out with them.
Nice.
Oh yeah, I'll take that.
All right, we'll do one
Sweet.
more Decanter Banter here.
Yeah, I don't know wine regions.
What is your favorite dish to pair with wine?
Cheese. Done. Next.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Next. All right, we'll do one more.
Doesn't count. Real good cheese. The stuff that you don't want to look at the price for.
Right.
Yeah.
You just get it.
Just
or like
get
a
it.
cheese, like a cheese bread salami, like an adult lunchable,
yeah.
but like a really, like you said, Ken, like a really upped one.
We can't go out to eat because I spent $40
The
on
snacks.
cheese.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I can't afford the wine because the cheese was too
Right.
expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do one more.
All right, you are having a picnic in the woods. What do you bring? Bug spray.
Yeah.
In Michigan.
That's true.
Yeah.
Definitely
for
bug
real.
spray. You're on the bug spray. I'm on the sunscreen. Though if we're in the woods.
What are we eating in the
Woods?
woods?
Once again, I just want bread and cheese.
Bread and
wine.
cheese. Like that.
Like where you get a hunk. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bread and cheese. I feel
Maybe
like
some
I pre-made
grapes.
sandwiches.
I really like grapes.
Oh. Bleh.
Pre-made sandwiches, like you want the mushy bread to be.
I have very. That's what's the word? That's like a repressed memory. The pre-made sandwiches I had in grade school and high school.
Peanut butter and jelly.
No,
where
I
it's
want-
That
like-
sort of thing.
What's his name? Bo Miles, the Australian guy. I want the bread that's the size of your head,
Yeah.
and the cheese that's
Yeah.
almost as big, and
And
you're
just
just
kinda like-
going.
Yeah.
That's it.
And I want some grapes. I like the grapes
Yeah,
and cheese
I
too.
like
That's
that.
really good. So, everything. I think the answer to everything is just bread, cheese, grapes, wine.
Right.
Just grapes and grape products, and bread, cheese.
And you probably want a little mustard
Oh yes,
to like kind of
Mm.
dip.
good. I love a mustard with horseradish in it. I
Yeah.
think
That'd
a
be good.
good mustard, in my opinion, has horseradish in it. I think a bad mustard can be made good by horseradish.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say a bad mustard doesn't have. Okay.
There's too many bad mustards though, unfortunately,
true.
to sort
That's
through.
true. That's true. Well, guys, let's get this show on the road. So, hello and welcome to another Date Night D-List Breakdown. Tonight we are going to be talking about The Green Lantern from 2011, starring Ryan Reynolds and who's his wife? Blake Lively.
I'm going to apologize ahead of time. I'm losing my voice, so I kind of sound
It may be gone by the end.
crazy.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I just don't know. So sorry
Just
if I
get
sound
nuts.
raspy, crazy, whatever.
If this is your first time tuning in or listening to a D-List movie breakdown from Day Night Dice, we watch bad movies so you don't have to. And we talk about them so you can learn all about. So, very spoiler heavy. If you were worried about
It's
the Green
all
Lantern
spoilers.
from 20...
Yeah, it's not spoiler heavy. Like,
That's
it
the
is
point.
just one big
is
spoiler.
spoilers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's essentially, this is a better way to watch the movie.
Yeah.
That is the intent.
So here's, I didn't know if you wanted to read these. The little...
Yeah, I love when we start with the IMDb description.
Yeah.
Is the
The
what
black
is
one is the official description.
this is the IMDb
Okay.
description here? All right. For anybody who doesn't know, the Green Lantern is about reckless pilot Hal Jordan is granted an alien ring that bestows him with otherworldly powers that inducts him into an intergalactic police force, the Green Lantern Corps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I would say that's accurate.
Yeah.
It's
Right.
one of the, sometimes we read them and they're wildly off base.
This was the other one that I saw and I just thought was kind of funny.
Test
so.
pilot Hal Jordan went from being a novelty, the first ever human Green Lantern, to one of the most legendary lanterns to ever wield a power ring. I wish I would.
That's a little farther from the truth.
That
That's a
was what I-
little.
I should have let off with that.
I
That
think
is-
that one
yeah.
is more someone who like really enjoyed
Somebody
the movie
who worked on
almost.
the movie made that. They thought very highly of it.
They were like, I think he's one of the best Green Lanterns ever at the end.
By the way, it turns out you're only allowed to have one free background, and I used it on this.
This is it.
Oh no!
So
You're
you guys
telling
are
me
going to
you
see a
used-
lot of this moving
So
forward.
every D list, it's just this.
I wonder if it's every time you join though, or is it
Maybe.
remembering who you are? Because you just
Because
did
I don't have
you
a
just-
sign in. Yeah.
Yeah, you just
Yeah,
went
so
on the
maybe
link.
it's
I'll have to make one finally. All mustards are bad.
I
Well,
disagree.
You know,
I
respectfully.
disagree. I love mustard.
Sounds like somebody who uses a yellow ring would say. Somebody who wields
Oh.
fear.
Yes, you need some will to handle some very horseradishy mustards. I
Right.
like the vinegar. I like the acid. I think that's all I care about
Mm-hmm.
there.
Get the tongue activated, the saliva going. Need that acid.
Yes.
wow, that
Absolutely.
noises you're making. Oh, so the Green Lantern came out in 2011.
Okay.
That is the same year as Captain America, Thor, and then Iron Man 1 and 2 had already come out. They came out in 2008 and 2010. So this should
Respectively.
be like, this should be
It's-
up with those, right?
I did not realize it came out the same. I knew it came out after
There's
Iron Man
something
1
on
and
your
2. I didn't realize it came out the same year as Captain America 1 and Thor 1, which
Yeah.
explains a lot of like, I can see why this was forgotten very quickly.
Oh yeah. As soon
Because-
as like Marvel was just rolling all those other ones
Yeah,
out, they were
and
like,
those-
get rid of this.
Those movies are okay, even, gosh, 13 years later or whatever. But boy, this movie was created by an algorithm or a collection of board members who
Yeah.
wanted in on superhero money.
That's true. I do think though that the only reason that Thor 1 stands up probably is because there's been so much character development for those
Yes.
characters since then
Yes.
that you
Oh.
see.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's like when you see
Same with Captain
old,
America. That
Like,
first
yeah,
one
they-
only
they
stands
weren't
up because
great.
the other two are like excellent, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But
I don't think the first Thor was even
It's-
good.
It's
I
It was
only
whatever.
watched it the one time. I've never seen it since.
yeah.
But just in general, the different effects and just how everything looked, this one just
I kind of agree with you. I think it drops the ball more in what Ken is saying, and it's like generality. It's
Well, that
almost
too.
like half the movie was missing, even though it was a normal,
Oh, yeah.
almost a normal movie runtime. It was like,
It
wh-
ju-
like where
it's
is
very-
the movie?
Yeah.
It's
like someone
it's,
gave you the bullet points, and that's what they made the movie
yeah,
out of.
it's gone before it even goes anywhere. Like it's over. And
Yeah.
I don't think this movie should be 2.5 hours. Thank goodness it's not.
Yeah,
Right?
thank goodness it's not.
It's like an
exactly.
hour 40 maybe. And it moves quick and it's over. And maybe they were going for sort of like a, well, we're just going to dip our toe in the water type thing. But
I don't know.
I don't know. We'll get into the details of why it doesn't work. But
So, yeah, as we step through this movie, I didn't do any Green Lantern research. I wish I would have. But the impression I get is that the Green Lantern world is more about the battle between will and fear. Like, can your will overcome fear, right? Like, the green
Yeah.
power is the power of will, and as long as you have the will, you can make anything. And then fear is sort of like the main bad guys, like the main bad guy from this, what's his name, Sinestro? No, that's the pink guy.
the
Yeah.
teacher.
No, it's like Paul.
What
Is
is
there
the
the
name
P?
of the bad guy?
Paul. No, am I
Paul?
making this up?
Poltergeist.
Paul. It's just Paul.
Big yellow
All the
cloud.
poltergeist? Yeah.
We'll get there. We'll
I
get
don't.
there.
I don't know the names. Half the
Here's-
time I'm making up names.
Asarak? No, wait,
Is that
that's
what
from
it is?
D&D. That's
Oh
something
my
different.
gosh. What
What I
is
do
a
know
Lich.
about Green Lantern lore, and I don't read the comics, nothing like that, is it started with the Green Lantern Corps and they used willpower to do their stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think maybe there was Yellow Lantern talk. Somewhere in the 90s or the 2000s, they split it into all colors of the rainbow. And so
Really?
there's like, how many are there's 7 in the rainbow? There's 7 different Lantern Corps.
Right. Roy G.
Each
Biv.
stands for a particular, right. Or as my older brother used to say, I remember it by saying orgy biv, right? Classic. Sorry. Oh no, I pulled my cord out as
Oh,
expected.
no. What's
But-
new?
So eventually they got to like a run of comics where it's 7 different core, and that's considered the modern like canon version of it.
I feel like there's
And
got
I-
to be some that you don't want.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, even in this movie, they get to the yellow core where it's like, well, you can use fear, but you really shouldn't, right?
Like what are the? I'm
And
so curious.
what
now
are the
the
green?
other
Let
ones
me
are.
find it.
But I feel like that yellow ring that they make, that is the fear ring Sinestro puts on. I think in the end credits scene, which I didn't watch. We of course did not.
Oh,
wait
was
till
there
the end of the
one?
Credits. There's an
Oh.
end
I
credit
didn't
scene
know.
where
I
Sinestro
didn't
puts
know.
on the yellow ring because from the comics, I think Sinestro is
Oh.
one of the main bad
He becomes
guys
the
of
bad
Green
guy.
Lantern.
Yeah,
Well, first of all,
Yeah.
did you see his haircut? I mean,
right. I mean,
he looked
was
like a bad. They were
born-
obviously he was going to be a
he
bad
was
guy.
born
Like,
and his eyebrows.
clearly.
Like he was built to be a bad guy.
He's a bad guy. Like
I
let's
So I
just.
think we all know.
All right.
Wait.
let me find
Hold
it
on.
here. Hold on. I want
That's
to. I want
fine.
to know
I
what
just
they
want
are.
to know what the
Okay.
colors are, and then we'll start.
I
Okay.
think this is from a Google image. Yellow
Because
is
one of them
fear.
has to be an idiot.
Green is will.
Okay. Yep.
White is life.
But
I
like,
believe
what
it-
do you? What
Life.
do you
Yeah,
do
I don't know
with
what that means.
You can't do that.
So
Here, let's go
dumb.
from yellow fear, red rage, makes sense. Orange greed,
Sure.
excuse me.
But who is like, I have the power of greed? What
Right.
do you do with
Like
that?
what does that mean? But I guess
just
that's
be
a
a-
bad guy. Maybe they split a beam of light and it accidentally created like
Oh,
good
man,
and
they're
bad
like,
ones or
"Oops."
It's like
something.
Red
Right.
Hulk.
Right. White is life, black is
Gray
death,
Hulk.
obviously.
I can't remember why there's a Gray Hulk. Does anybody know? If you know in
That's
the chat,
Professor
please.
Hulk is Gray Hulk.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Is it?
Purple is love, blue is compassion, indigo is hope, I think. So, you know, they basically
Sounds like
This just seems
what's that cartoon?
like a
Captain Planet.
bad idea.
pretty much, yeah. But they couldn't anyway. I don't know how we got into that, but that's the modern.
That's stupid.
That's where they were trying to go with this,
It's not working.
I think.
Also,
Where
you
do we
can't have
start?
one that's just straight up like death and whatnot.
Yeah,
Okay.
where do we
So
start?
the movie
in this?
opens with the backstory of the Green Lantern. Right away, it tells you like the lore of. So it's in space and it's like the Green Lanterns, the Emerald Energy, and it's like talking about all that
A
crap.
classic tell don't show.
So they talk about emerald energy
That's
comes
how
from
you.
willpower.
That's how you make a movie.
That's how you make movies.
Tell,
You tell,
don't show.
Classic.
There
That's what
are
we want.
3,600 sectors, and each sector has a Green Lantern that protects
Yeah.
it. Right, so they each have a ring, and
I
then
was
they
surprised how many sectors there were.
they kind of go on to some more like little
But then at the same
tales
time,
about it.
the sectors are also described later as being like pretty
A galaxy.
massive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're big, which is
So-
why it's confusing that Ryan Reynolds like just does LA or whatever. But
Yeah, right. You're
where all the bad
granted the
guys come.
galaxy of Los Angeles.
yeah, that's what it's
Pretty
like.
much what it was.
Wait, so it does all the like telling you kind of about that, and then I don't now. Tell me if I'm like miss anything.
Okay.
But then it shows aliens on what we would call aliens on some random planet, and they're like walking around like they're exploring. One falls into a hole, and they like see something that's like trapped in there with them, and I don't know if I don't remember exactly, but it essentially then like sucks their soul, skin, everything, kills them.
Oh,
And
that's
starts,
right. I
like,
forgot about that.
growing.
They crash landed in the Lost sector.
Did they crash
The
land?
Lost sector.
Okay.
The Lost sector, right?
Yeah, the bad guy. I wish I could remember his name. Did you write it down somewhere?
It's like
I mean, I
Polax
should
or
look it up
something.
so that unless we come up with a funny
Polarax,
Polter.
Polax,
Tular-
Paul.
Polaris, the
Polaris.
Lord of
but it does mention how
snowmobiles.
he had been defeated by one of the strongest Green Lanterns.
And he was like
That's
put into
right.
jail
trapped
there or
in the
whatever.
Lost
Yeah.
sector.
So they stumble upon it, which I want to be like,
Yeah, they shouldn't have
What
crashed.
a-
What were they doing in the Lost sector?
But
I
what
thought
if
it
Also,
was
they
wouldn't,
Lost.
jail,
wouldn't they have
too?
known it was there? Or
What I find interesting is, well, it's just random aliens. They're
that's
not
right,
Green
it's
Lanterns.
random people. Okay,
It's
his
like
name is
they're
Parallax.
Parallax. There we go.
Parallax.
Okay.
Yeah,
He's
okay.
well aware that the aliens are well aware they're in the Lost sector. This I couldn't.
That's true.
I didn't understand why they knew they were in the Lost sector if it's the Lost sector. Wouldn't
If
they
you're
be like,
lost.
"Where are we?" Like, I've never heard of this
I
place.
don't know.
Yeah, it's and then
If it's not in our archives, then it doesn't exist.
But then if you do know where the lost sector is on the map, it's like, oh well, we're in the lost sector, so like
Yeah.
we know how to
Is
get
it
out
lost?
We should
Right.
skedaddle back to.
of it. Right.
But
Yeah,
he
it's a
like
weird.
sucks them up and kills them, and then like grows all big and
Like,
like
he eats
shoots
souls.
out of there.
I think
Yeah, he
is
like
that his thing, basically.
yeah, but also he essentially like rips their skin off because they're always like bones at
it's a
the
very
end,
extreme
which was a little
soul.
weird.
We're not
eating
exactly sure what's
experience.
happening.
Yeah.
I do have, so I take notes while we watch these movies with no context. And my first note here is, in quotes, it says, "You are afraid? Good." And I'm pretty
Oh,
sure
is that what he
Parallax
says?
says that to the aliens.
Which is supposed to tell you that he
Okay,
takes fear,
the fear. Okay,
and that's how
yeah.
he like grows and becomes stronger. Then it cuts to
Sure,
6 months
whatever
later.
you say.
This movie,
Does it say 6 months later?
Yeah, it said 6 months later. This movie is very jumpy of like on Earth, on this planet, on Earth, back to this problem. But like, so it does that a
Yeah,
lot.
yeah.
But it's not like confusing, but it just
It's
like
there's
bullet
an
points.
overwhelming sense that none of this matters. So I was able to look past some of it.
So I don't remember exactly, but it shows the Green Lantern guy, the guy who
Entrapped
Trapped
Guy
him.
who will die soon.
he's like talking to someone else in his
Oh, you know
spaceship
who it
and it gets
is?
like attacked. It looks like Fraser Crane.
No, it's
It's
you
not.
know
Boba Fett.
it
Is
is. That's who it is. You're right.
Really?
It's Tamur. What is his name?
I don't
Yeah,
know.
it is Boba / Jango Fett.
Yeah, I won't. It's not
Mm.
worth looking up. But he's got a show now. Jeez.
I didn't
Um,
watch that show yet.
Hey, Stan, one
Discussion
movie
for a
at
different
time.
time.
Yeah.
He's talking to someone. His spaceship gets attacked by the bad guy, by Parallax.
Parallax. Attached,
And then
it's his arch nemesis because
he-
he's the one who defeated him previously.
So
Right.
he is like trying to get away.
So
he gets
the Dragon
hurt by
Reborn
him.
and
Yeah, right. But we
Ra's
go
al
on to
Ghul.
Wheel of Time.
I'm sorry.
He gets hurt by him, but he gets away in like a little mini spaceship.
Right. Some
Yep.
sort of escape pod.
He knows he's hurt though, so he heads towards the nearest planet, which is Earth, to find a
Of
new Green
course.
Lantern to take over.
So,
for him.
so are you telling me that the Lost Sector is
It's like
like
Mars,
the house
it's-
next door to Earth? Basically.
Well, it's been
That's
6 months.
interesting.
Parallax has been
That's
cruising
true.
the
6
the
months.
galaxies I'm assuming the Lost Sector
That's
is
true.
a different galaxy. He's been cruising the galaxies.
But also, are you telling me that you finally entrapped a guy, and only 6 months and he skedaddled out of there? Like that's how
No,
long
he was locked away like forever.
was he
He's
for?
been
Okay,
loose for
it was
6
just
months.
6 months. Okay,
Yeah.
Right. Yes. He's been
Yes.
locked away for a very long time. I
okay.
believe.
Because I was like, wow, you didn't do a very good job.
But
Yeah,
that
yeah,
makes
that
more
would be
sense.
bad.
He's
Okay.
a cloud monster. This is
Yeah,
like
this is-
here we're in the it's
Yeah.
2011. We're smack dab at the beginning
I
of
do have
the
a picture
CGI
of him,
monstrosity.
but it's probably not in the right order.
Yeah, this is the early stages of figuring out what
he's a big
heroes work and more importantly, what bad guys work.
Mm-hmm.
Because we
It
got
is
a lot of
literally-
bad guys in
yeah.
this era.
What is it? Galactus from
Yep,
the
Fantastic
Four,
Four.
Silver
Yeah.
Just
Surfer.
swirling
Same bad
cloud. Yep.
Yeah.
same
Literally
thing.
big
just
cloud.
yellow instead.
Yeah.
Okay, so we know the one guy's heading towards Earth, and then it cuts to Hal, which is Ryan Reynolds. He wakes up next to a lady, and of course
Nice.
A babe.
he's late for
Right.
work, and it's the
Right.
usual like, hey, let yourself out.
You know
when you're
how
done,
it is when you're
Right.
25 and you wake up from a hookup and you got to get to work, and so you just leave this stranger in your
Yeah.
house
Right.
and tell her to
You're
lock
like-
up.
Much like other friend of the podcast, Channing Tatum, how Magic
Oh,
Mike
he's
opens.
definitely done
Same
that.
way.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Same way.
Yeah.
And he
Haven't
has
we
like a
all been
sports
there?
car. He's driving to work super fast. He's super cool.
Yeah.
He
He's
gets
a
to
bad
work.
boy.
Yeah.
He's late,
bad.
and that's when Blake Lively, his co-worker, apparently another
guess.
pilot, is yelling at
Right.
him to grow up. She looks
That's
like she
right.
just turned 18. So the fact that she's a skilled pilot,
Yeah.
just a little weird.
She's just looking young, that's all. Taking care of herself.
Okay. Okay.
So she's yelling at him how he's like, oh, never on time. He
Right.
doesn't take anything seriously,
Yeah.
and blah, blah, blah.
They're going for an Iron Man thing here, right?
Yeah.
Playboy.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't play
Right.
by the rules, but a hot
And it's-
shot.
It's not like totally crazy,
It's not-
right? That's
it's not
fine. Hal
bad
Jordan
yet.
can be that person.
Yeah.
Yeah. It really
it's-
isn't. It's totally fine so far. Other than the cloud monster. I don't like
Well,
nobody
we'll
likes
get to
a cloud monster.
Yeah,
The
slow down.
CGI, and we'll get to it. It's a whole. That's
Well-
a whole thing.
Thank you for mentioning it, Ken. My second comment that I wrote down, 10-year-old CGI looks rough. And I capitalized the R in rough.
Wow.
Man,
when Ben capitalizes things.
What I don't think it's even necessarily the CGI in this movie. I think it's the way that it's used.
I was gonna say it's like the
Mm-hmm.
placement of when they did it.
It has a very distinct. Oh, we got Frederick Pope
We
in
got
the chat.
we got our
Freddie
Friend of
P.
the
I don't even
pod.
know, Freddie Pope back on the shit. I love we're so
War
popular
on.
that our
Yeah.
YouTube is getting taken
So
over
somebody
by
said
bots.
last night. The CGI in this, it feels like it's in front of a green screen. All of it feels like it's two people standing on green boxes
Right.
in
Yeah.
front
Unless-
of an absolute flat surface.
Once in a while they're on a set. Once in a while.
Rarely.
But when
That
they're
looks like a
not.
high school, like we put the
Right.
backdrop
It's like, okay,
in,
put a crate
or a
here.
desk. Yeah.
Put well, what's in a classroom? A desk? Okay.
But there's a lot where it's
It's
like
very-
it's not like we had a green screen background to our set. It's that we were in a green screen. Like it was
We
like you guys
only
just
had
guess
green screen.
what
Yeah.
else is here.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's all green.
Yeah. So anyway, where are we
Okay,
at?
so-
He's that's
so
right.
he just got to work. Hal is like a fantastic pilot,
Best in
and
the
they are
biz,
testing
baby.
some sort of like robot automatic planes to see if they would be better. Do you remember
Right.
exactly
This
what
was
it
interesting. It was
Yeah.
so it was AI controlled fighter jets that are supposed to be better than real fighter pilots.
Yes.
Yep.
And I thought that the bad guy in the movie then was going to be the
It was
AI.
gonna be that guy, right? Or
Right.
something.
Like
or the
I
guy
thought that
owns
Oh.
the AI of the planes was going to be the enemy of the movie.
Which is
That's how it
the
usually
plot
is.
of the movie called Stealth, starring
Okay.
Jamie
Yes.
Foxx and
Right.
Jessica Biel, which I remember vividly for whatever reason. Not a great movie either. I don't know.
Well, there we go. That's our no. So then you find out Hal is like a risk taker
When did
because
the
they're
movie
like
Stealth come
they
out?
can't. I don't know. They can't like quite get around
2005.
these
Okay.
AI planes,
Yeah.
and he takes it to the next level where he's like, well, let's go somewhere they can't go, and he like hits an altitude where like they shut off and
It's out of the
all this
mission
crap.
parameters,
Yeah.
and they know the planes will fail there.
Yeah.
So
So-
he's proving what? That they
He's an
know
idiot?
both planes
I
will
don't
fail
know.
there? Oh,
I
he
don't
also he throws his wingman, Blake Lively. By the way, what is her character's name?
Carol.
Okay.
Carol.
I
Well,
just had
she's
to look
supposed
it
to
up
be-
though. I don't know if they say
No,
her
she's
name
not going to
in
be
it.
Carol Danvers. That wouldn't make any sense. But first part of the mission, he allows her to be killed, air quotes, in this simulation so
Yeah,
that he
she's
can
dead.
perform this maneuver that he was specifically instructed not to do
Right.
because it's outside of the functional limits of both
Man,
the
he's
human flown
wild.
plane and the AI flown plane, right? Like,
He's-
what a hot, sexy pilot.
He's thinking outside the box.
There you
He's
go.
not, though. They've identified the box. They know where the box
Right.
is.
And he's outside the, no, here's the thing. What do we learn from Hal Jordan in this scene? He'll do anything to win,
That's
Sure.
true. He's kind of a weirdo.
and
including flipping the
cheating.
table.
He will
Cheating
cheat
and
to
then
win.
flipping the table.
Yeah.
What else do we learn about him? Well, then his plane
He
stalls.
will, he will kill a friend in order to
When-
win.
yeah. When he's coming back down, they're like, okay, Hal, funny, haha.
Yeah.
And they're like talking to him. They're like, Kate, start your plane. And he's like flashing back all of a sudden, which is like, come on.
What does it even flashback to?
He's flashing back to his
His
dad,
dad
who was a
blowing up.
pilot. And his
Oh,
dad
man.
died
I
that way.
Forgot about that.
But his flashbacks are like legit 8 minutes of him hanging out with his dad.
Takes
and
a very
talking to his
long
dad
time
and
to
all this
spiral.
stuff.
From anyway,
So last minute, when they're like, "Come on, this isn't funny," he ejects finally, and his plane ends up just
Right.
blowing up. Which I'm
Crashes.
just gonna guess that's a couple mil, right?
Oh,
That's
it's
quite
at least.
expensive,
It's an
closer
F-35.
to $1 billion
right?
than
And he's
1
like,
million.
"Oops!" For like a training little. I'm just gonna say they're pretty pissed at that point.
Here's the interesting thing. This is the very, so up until now, it's like, okay, what's going to happen? Like, there's an introduction of a bad guy. You get to see the Green Lanterns. You hear about what a Green Lantern is. You get introduced to Hal Jordan,
Yeah.
and he's somewhat interesting, I guess. And then during the introduction of the Green Lanterns, they said Green Lanterns are fearless. They said that. They
Oh,
didn't
did
say
they?
that they overcome their fear, that they can deal with their fear.
Huh.
They say that they're fearless. And then the first time we see Hal Jordan,
Yeah.
his plane is stalling. He can possibly recover. He has like flashbacks about his dad dying, and like gets essentially locks up with fear
Yeah.
and doesn't save the plane.
But
And I'm like, well, he's gonna be a bad Green Lantern.
but
then.
also his dad had some quote. I don't know. It was like he was like, "Aren't you
Don't
scared?"
you get scared, Dad?
And
He's like,
he was like, "It's my job to
it's
not
my job not to be.
or something." And he says the same thing to his nephew later.
Right, but clearly he is
But he
scared,
is.
which this is the beginning of the point at which I'm like confused by this movie because
Well, you find out he's
Yeah.
afraid of lots of things. He's afraid of relationships, right? He's
Well,
afraid
what's her
of
name?
like
Blake-
there's multiple things.
Post mission or post simulation, they're arguing, and she's like, "You locked up." He's like, "Yeah, I got scared." So right away he says,
Yeah.
right.
"I was afraid,"
Yeah.
which I mean,
Okay, so like there's a character flaw in our Green Lantern.
That's
Green
true.
Lantern's supposed to be fearless and he's not fearless.
that's good. Yeah.
Let's see how that pays off later or doesn't.
Wah, wah. It
Yeah,
doesn't.
exactly.
Yeah.
This is
Has
the point
no
I'm trying
relevance.
to make. I want to drill down on this right now because
Yeah.
as we will see later, the fact that he's the first human Green Lantern, the fact that he's not fearless, and all this stuff doesn't matter at all.
It doesn't.
No,
Like
it doesn't.
It never like pays off in any way.
The
Like, I don't know
only-
what
the
points they were
only-
trying to make.
The only hurdle he has to overcome is because he's human. And that's
I
from the pink. Right. That's what I'm saying. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
well, you know, what are you supposed to do? The pink guy who teaches him, and we might as well
we
talk
gotta
about
get
it now.
there
Yeah,
because
hold on.
I really want to get
Okay.
into
We
there
will,
is
will.
like almost like
I
a
hate the
time
pink
jump
guy.
in this.
Yeah,
I hate
hold
looking
on.
guy.
Oh, wait, so yeah, after he goes into like the office, which Carol is in her like 1940s
She changed out of her flight
secretary.
suit pretty quick.
She is
Yeah.
now in 5-inch heels, a mini
Right.
skirt, and like a
Standard issue, Air Force issue,
Standard
skin tight
issue.
red dress. Right.
Air
So
Force
she's
issue.
like yelling at him. Yeah, he does that whole like "get locked up," whatever. Like, oh, wait, then we go back to the alien guy. It shows him he crashed in the ocean. He tells his ring to find a new Green Lantern.
Not Sinestro. This was
This
the
is the
guy who
hero.
defeated
This is the hero
the
alien
hero
guy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Boba Fett.
And then we go
Purple
back to
Boba
Ryan
Fett.
Reynolds. So now we're
Yeah.
back to Hal again. So this I mean that like it just kind of
It does jump around a little bit
Yeah.
here.
Whenever it shows the escape pod, spaceship, whatever of the previous like Earth Sector Green
the
Lantern,
guy who came down
the
to
purple-
give the ring away. Yeah.
I can't. Whenever they show the ship, I can't quite see it. I don't know why. I don't know if you guys had this problem, but like every time they would show it, I couldn't see. I couldn't tell what I was looking at. It was
And
not obvious to me that I'm
everyone
looking at a
in the
Oh,
spaceship.
it's
movie
like
is
a
like-
big blob.
It was like
kinda.
Yeah,
I
it's
don't.
just a
I
blob.
didn't know what it was. It was like it was not like this is a spaceship, and it's not like oh this is a weird shape. It was like in the dark, and I could
Yeah,
never like see.
I get it.
Everyone
I
in the
get it.
movie though is like, is that a spaceship? Like right away is what
Yeah.
their thing is.
Why
But-
can't I tell what the spaceship looks like? That's what I wrote down.
So many.
I'll tell you because they didn't want to pay to animate it.
Yeah.
So they
'cause
put it in
CG'd
dark.
it. No.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, so he goes to a family birthday party with his nephew. That's when he does the
God,
little
I
like,
forgot about
it's
this.
my
This is
job
so
to be,
unnecessary.
you know,
This
blah
is
blah
just-
blah. And that's when his brothers or family yell at him for
Being a
making
hot
stupid
shot
decisions,
bad boy.
like
He's on the
crashing
news
his
for
plane
plus
and this
crashing
and
his
that.
plane.
Yeah.
Which makes sense. He would be for the most
Yeah.
part.
When he's leaving the party, he's like on his way to his car, and a green orb just sucks him up and
gets
takes
him.
him away.
Just
He
grabs
just
him.
grabs him.
Because
That's
remember,
right.
Yeah.
he said to the ring, the purple Boba Fett said to the ring, "Go choose a new lantern." And so it's looking
Yes.
around. The ring's on its
found
And
journey.
this, and this is a huge part of Lantern core lore,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Right.
It
The lantern
finds-
mythos.
Right. Fearless, and it chooses you. That's a big
Yeah.
deal.
So he tries to help the alien.
It's like being a Pokemon of the ring.
Calm down.
Right.
The
I
alien
choose
guy ends up dying.
Of course, he
Ryan
does.
Reynolds
Purple
gets
Boba
the
Fett.
ring.
Yeah.
Right. He's got
Well,
another.
well, hold
like-
on. This was a weird time jump slash distance jump because
Yeah.
the ring is shown like rocketing across the country,
Yeah.
and it goes
Yeah.
to Ryan Reynolds,
And it's daylight.
and
Yeah,
it's
it is
daylight,
daylight. When he gets there, it's like night-ish.
and
Totally
it
night.
rockets
Right?
him back. Well, I guess if he's wearing the ring, that makes sense. For some reason I remember him driving there, and I was like, did he just drive 18
he-
hours?
He calls his friend though, so he must have been nearby. He calls his friend to come
In the
check it
Jeep.
out.
His friend
That's
comes
He
picks him
right.
up
in the
in the
Jeep.
Jeep.
That's why.
And as soon as his friend gets there, his friend is like, "Is that an alien spaceship?" And he's like, "Yeah."
like, "Yeah."
And then he's like, "We got to get out of here, man." Which I'd be
Okay.
like, "Do we? Like, we didn't do anything. I don't."
Yeah,
And they zoom out of there because like helicopters are coming already and
I guess.
whatnot. Which I don't know. Like, why? When
Why
would that
are-
ever happen?
There's helicopters come. Well, because it's an alien spacecraft.
I don't, whatever.
Now, keep in mind, Ryan Reynolds is a test pilot that works for a private company. He does not work for the U.S. government.
Oh, is that
No.
right?
Yeah, they have. They're like a private firm that are doing some sort of
But they're
government
testing
contract for
the-
these
that makes
AI.
That's
Yeah.
right, because Blake Lively is she like owns it or something. There's possibly
She's
a
like
conflict of
the-
interest
somehow
there.
running it.
Daughter.
Yeah, the
or
daughter of the
something, or
owner or something.
I
something
did
like
get
that?
really confused between the senator, who's the father of another
Right.
bad guy in the movie, and the owner of the
Yes,
test flight
But they all
company.
kind of knew each
I
other.
get all kind of and they're
it
all
was very
They're all old
boys
white guys.
club,
right when
sort
So
of
he's
like.
just
when the
Which
one
maybe
guy
that was
is the scientist is the son of the senator, and then he's like attracted to the one girl who's the daughter of the guy who owns the company. I was like, wait, are they brother sister? Like that's weird. I was like, oh
They
no, wait, those are
clearly
two different
knew
people.
each other.
they knew
Blake
each other.
Lively
Yeah.
and the scientist. Like
It's never
and
explained how they
but it
knew
was
each
like-
other.
No,
that
it's
scientist
weird.
character is so like paper thin in terms of actual.
Oh
like,
yeah.
Oh yeah,
It's
She's
just
also-
well, I don't know, you're like a loser who hates
Yeah.
women on the internet, and you're
Yeah,
a genius. Go.
Exactly. He's a classic, like, well, if girls don't like me, I hate
Right.
them. Like, where you're like, yee, watch out.
Ugh.
Like,
Watch out.
ugh.
It makes your skin crawl, but not in like an interesting way. just in like
No, he's like a
you're
mad
gross.
loser.
Go away.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So then we cut to the Green Lantern headquarters. And they're having a meeting about how the yellow guy, that's the Parallax. I call him
Scarlet.
the yellow guy.
Skrillex. DJ Skrillex.
Skrillex. Yeah.
How he got out.
Over
The main guy with the really bad haircut is talking to a bunch of like leader, big brain kind of guys. Oh, you
Did
never
we
showed
skip
this.
something?
Well, this is when they're having the chit chat after. You got to show
All right.
that.
We have to at least do a little bit of this.
Okay.
This was
So
after
there's
the crash.
Carol. Okay, and then what else do we have?
I don't know. What's
Well,
next?
You should probably look. There's
Parallax like sucking out some souls.
some souls. That's
Yeah.
what it looks like. Cloud Monster.
Right here he is. Cloud Monster. There's
Yeah.
his soul leaving his body.
I think the next one is bad haircut, or it's the.
Oh man, here we go. We're not
okay,
here
so
yet.
hold on,
though.
we're not there
We're
yet.
not
I'm
there
sorry.
yet. Jumping ahead.
But
Don't get too far
the
ahead of
main
yourself.
Green Lantern guy is saying how he's going to take the best Green Lanterns he knows, and they're going to go like capture Parallax. They're going to be done with it, just catch him and solve the problem.
Uh-huh.
So he goes to do that. Then we head back to Earth. So now the FBI stopped by a random person's house. This is is he a science teacher? Is he a doctor?
I think he's a
of-
professor.
He's a professor, like PhD, right?
I think this is one of the main reasons I shaved my mustache was this character.
That's right.
He has the
And that made
same
me
mustache as me.
That made me so mad because I loved your mustache.
I can grow it back.
So the FBI stopped by this guy's house, and they're like, we need you right away. And they bring him to a secret location, and all this secret stuff happens. And then they show him that they found an actual alien, and they want him to dissect it. And they want, like, his personal opinion on, all this scientific
like,
stuff.
For some reason, he's an expert.
And he's, like, so honored and so excited and all this stuff. So then when it shows him doing it, but when he's doing it, it's weird. It's like they were like, we're going to raise you 50 feet in the air.
We have to slide you up into the Hadron Collider, the large
Yeah,
Hadron.
he's
the
performing
LHC.
it inside
like-
of some sort of device.
Yeah, and it's like
That's
really
never
high
used.
up because after they like
It's just a
lower him
set.
back down.
I don't know why
don't
we
know.
do autopsies of aliens in the LHC, but
It's
we
weird.
do. And
Yeah.
so
When he's doing it though, he's like, cutting apart things and being like talking about the organs, and a little bit of the yellow energy from the bad
was
guy
in- it was
was
still in
in
him.
there still. Goes to
Got in him.
goes to him. And he kind of does a
Now,
little like,
yeah.
ow, and that's
we
it.
know what's going to happen.
We know.
Yeah,
We
you've
know.
seen this movie before.
Right, you have. That's the problem.
You
That is
have
the
seen
problem with
this movie before.
Is that you've seen
Yeah.
it before.
Maybe
You
even
have not
worse.
watched this movie, but you've seen it before.
Even worse, you've thought of this movie in your head. If someone
Yeah,
asked
like
you
you
to
could-
write
could've
Green
done.
Lantern, you wrote this movie,
Yeah.
and that is an
Exactly.
insult to the listeners.
Do you have a note
Sorry.
for this part, Ben?
Do I have any notes? We're caught up on my notes so far. The only
Okay.
thing I wrote down here was responsibility means asshole, but I don't know when that comes up.
What is
Oh,
that?
that's when his friend is like, "Why would they give the ring to you? Does it mean like you're supposed to be
Oh
an asshole
yeah,
to
it was
get the ring?"
And you know who it
Which
is?
also I want to be like, "Yikes! I'm sorry if my like."
Did you mention it's Taika Waititi, the man who famously saved the Thor franchise
Really?
and of many other movies?
I guess I didn't even know.
Very talented director, not a great actor, but he was in Free Guy. He was the bad guy in Free Guy.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Yep.
Really?
Yep.
Yep.
Why do I know?
Stick to directing, Mr. Waititi. Love your work.
He apparently
Don't act.
really likes Ryan
He's
Reynolds.
not.
Okay.
He's not bad in this movie. Actually, he's just
Ryan
everybody-
Reynolds isn't bad in this movie either.
Every character in this movie is an absolutely one-dimensional piece of wax paper that you can see
Yeah.
right through. Like
Maybe like you could get on Blake Lively a little bit, but I would say the rest
She
of
had
the
like a total of 4 lines.
they didn't give her anything to do.
They said wear this dress and do
Right.
paperwork, and then
Right.
always be like in a CG simulation. Like she literally has probably 5 lines total. She doesn't have
Yeah.
much.
right,
going
but
on.
I'm not like it's not like anybody's like necessarily acting poorly. It's like it was just written like so bland and
Yeah.
That's why it feels like
Straightforward.
algorithmic, right? This was just
It does. An AI wrote this movie.
It does
Yeah.
feel weird. So Hal goes home and tries to make the ring work.
yeah.
He tries to
Yeah.
take the oath,
He's got the
all
lantern.
this stuff. He's got the
all this
lantern,
stuff.
and he's doing all crazy poses and this and that. Then Carol shows up to his house, and they go to the bar.
Wait, do you remember? He's trying to do the oath, and then boom, he suddenly knows it. He
Does
recites
he? I
it
don't
verbatim.
remember that. Okay.
Yeah,
He like
what it-
just knows it and
Did he
says
like
it.
hit it
Nope.
the right way
He
or
just
something?
knew.
This is
all of a sudden.
I was
He just knew. He just.
I was
knew.
gonna ask. Wait a minute.
I didn't
Am I
remember that
forgetting,
part.
or how does he learn the oath? And it's because he doesn't. It
He,
just
he just knows.
comes out of him.
It just happens?
He just erupts from his body.
It doesn't come
Yikes.
from like
Should-
him learning a lesson, or some
Exactly.
sort of.
It's not like I wish something would have. It's like we've seen so far that he needs some growing. We have
Yes.
purposely been set up to show that he has some growing to do.
Yeah, that's true.
And
Yeah.
I wish that he would have had to take a personal step towards. Now I know.
Right.
Like this is maybe a
Yeah, if
stretch
he
too
earned
far,
it.
but think about the Stormlight Archive. Every time that Radiant has to take an oath, they know the words once they've learned the lesson.
Right.
There's
Oh,
like
yeah,
they
I
are
know.
forced to learn these lessons, and they know the words to the next oath.
Or
right? And I know you haven't finished the fourth book yet,
no,
Ken,
no,
but like
yeah,
that's all about Kaladin learning the
Yeah.
next oath, right?
Yeah.
And this I was expecting the same thing here of like, oh, you got to say the oath, but how do you know the oath? Well, you just do when you learn. But he just all of a sudden he's like,
Or-
I'm gonna give it a try.
or have him make a joke out of it. Have him turn it over, and he reads the oath. But the oath doesn't work
Something.
because he's not committed to it, right?
Yeah.
And now he knows the words. He knows what he has to say, but he has to make a journey to like have it mean something.
Yeah.
No, this
well,
one
have
is
see
like
that
do-
would-
opposite.
It just like
It's like you just got it.
yeah.
See, Ken,
cool.
that would be a good movie. I would even be fine with a bad movie in which it just says it on the bottom and it's funny, and he
Right,
says
even-
it and it works.
Yeah.
That's better than I just magically know it. I've learned
Right,
nothing.
it's sort of
I know
like-
the words.
Were they going for the thing in Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man 1 where he's standing on the roof like doing alakazam, like he's trying to get the web to come out? Is
And
that
he
what
hits
that
the
was?
right
Yeah, they
finger.
were kind of doing that
They
where it was
were
like
doing
different
that.
poses, and it's like the the hard.
I think
cut
he even
to
did
each.
the. I think he.
I think
even
he
did
does
that.
do the web
He
slam.
does do that. Well, how funny would it have been if it was like a Lord of the Rings joke, and like he looks at the ring, and on the inside of the ring it says the oath.
Right,
Sure.
there were
Why the hell
multiple-
not? Right?
Like whatever.
But you have to have him understand the words one way or another.
Right.
And he doesn't.
No.
It's like he's reading it off the back of a
It's
shampoo
suddenly
bottle
he just.
while he's going to the bathroom.
Yeah.
And then he's the Green Lantern.
I'm the Green Lantern.
Yeah.
He's the Green Lantern. Hey guys, let's keep this in mind. He's the Green
Oh
Lantern.
man,
God.
don't get started
Okay,
on
so hold on. So Carol comes over. They go to the bar.
those
When they're at the
eyes.
bar, they find out that they've like hooked up before, but it never worked out because Hal
Right, they
like
used to
couldn't
be
commit.
together.
all
Right,
this
he's
stuff.
a hot playboy. She,
He,
likes
like-
to wear skin tight dresses and will wait around for him for eternity.
Yeah, which I'm
That's
like,
the
then
context
why?
of
Like,
it.
why are you waiting for him if he's so
Yeah.
horrible?
Yeah.
But when he goes to leave, he gets attacked by some guys who I think he like effed up their job at work because he wrecked the plane.
That's
something
right.
happened, right?
There's like a weird business plot to this
There's
where
something.
Remember, he
He-
says, "Watch your back." After he crashes the plane, the guy says,
Right.
"Watch your back," and then they assault him at the bar.
But why?
Yeah.
I don't know.
How did you
because
find
it's
him at the
because
bar?
Blake Lively's or Blake Lively's military company now has to like swindle. They have to honeypot the deal
Do something
for these
yeah.
AI planes, which are no longer relevant. Like we've left that plot line in the dust.
That's gone. That doesn't matter.
I thought
It
that
will
was
never
gonna
come
be,
up
like you
again.
the
said,
whole
Ben.
purpose of that was to show that
He's
Hal
crafty.
Jordan
Asshole.
will cheat to win. He will
Yeah.
cheat to win.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
he's fighting them for the most part. He's getting beat up. But then at some point they're starting to walk away, and he goes to throw something at them. And when he does it, a big giant green punch
A green
comes out,
fist.
and it like hits all of them. And that's when he
Like, kills
realizes
them,
like what
essentially.
he's thinking. He murders
All he
Yeah,
wanted
right.
to do was like teach him a
Commits
lesson.
homicide.
He kills them.
Yeah.
I will leave Board to Play's comment up here for the whole rest of this movie. God, I forgot how bad this movie was.
Yeah, just leave that up there.
But it is not bad. It's
Nope.
not even bad yet. It's still fine. It's
Yeah, it
just
hasn't
not
gotten that
good.
bad.
It's
Yeah.
bland
But I
and
feel
boring,
like this
but
is
it's
the
not
part where it
bad
starts
yet.
to get bad. Because after he does the giant fist, he just flies into space with the ring.
Right. Oh, you've used
Does
the
he?
power once. Now it's time to
Yeah.
train, baby.
Yeah.
And so
Okay.
he just zooms to the Green Lantern planet. Is it a planet?
Oa?
What is
It
it?
ha-
I think it is a
Oa.
planet.
Yep,
Is it a planet?
you're right.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a planet. I think maybe it's a system.
So he's
This
just
is
not
where
like
the
clear.
Guardians are.
flying through space. He's
Yeah.
doing his thing. Hi, Pippa. Like, please don't attack me.
We're almost to my next note. Oh, I did say OMG, that CG mask. Oh,
hold
this
on,
is
though.
where
We
haven't
didn't do the
got- yeah.
costume. Did we
Yeah.
not do it yet?
No,
Not right
because
now
he's
is when we do
he's
it.
gonna go get it. But hold
You're
on.
right.
It gets
You're right.
It's 3D printed on his
Yeah.
body.
So the doctor scientist guy, though, we'll head back to him. He goes home and he looks like he got food poisoning. He is having a rough night.
Yeah,
Well,
So
he's-
it shows him being like super sweaty.
Got the yellow poison.
If you
Yeah.
thought he was sweaty in the first appearance, boy, he's
he
just
gets
wet at this
sweaty.
point. Got
then
out of the
we-
pool.
Head back to Hal. This is what I mean when it's like you show like 10 seconds of like, hey, he's not doing good, and then you head back to another like planet.
Yeah.
So then all of a sudden he's in like a body scanner, which means he's naked and looks like he has a weird diaper on. Do you remember
Right.
that? It was
I
very
don't remember that at
CG.
He was
all.
naked with alien underwear.
Yeah, it was like a weird diaperish thing.
Right. Somebody clearly
It
undressed.
looks like
great.
if you put a Ken doll though into like the way it. I was like, is it his body? I don't even know.
I blocked this out.
It's
because
the here, Ken. Can you duck down a little bit? Here, hold
yeah.
on. I gotta.
There.
What are you trying to do? Why'd you
Uh,
move us?
Why'd
There
you
we go.
switch
Oh,
me? Yeah.
okay. There.
There we go.
So this is when he's getting his suit on and he's getting all that stuff.
Look at that. He's on
Hold on.
Oa too.
Yes, he gets his suit, his mask.
Are you gonna like?
All that
yeah. Look.
stuff.
There you go.
Yes. You need your eyes to be hideous. Wait, go to
White
the
out?
one
Let me-
photo
hold
I
on, let
have
me
though,
paint
because you can see
White out.
Yeah,
in
the
my
paint-
eyes
eyes.
up close.
Yeah, you gotta. Here, I'll switch this back here. Emily is talking about this.
This I don't
hate
hate
this.
the skin suit. The mask
skin
suit
is
is
fine.
worse than the skin suit.
The skin suit's fine.
Why did they CG
I hate
his
the mask.
eyes?
He's
Why
not-
are his eyes like that?
I
He's
hate
clearly
it.
not wearing a mask,
Ugh.
and it is CG'd on.
There
But
was
why
even a
it's-
point later in the movie where he's talking to Blake Lively
Yeah,
and he like
she's
makes
like,
the
"Can you
mask
not?"
disappear and she's like, "Oh my gosh, that's so much better." And I thought they were gonna like make a joke and move on
No.
and he would not wear it anymore. Then he puts it right back on and the movie keeps going.
I don't know why he gives.
But
it's so bad looking.
It's so bad. It clearly is like his eyes CG'd. Oh my god, there's like a there's a giant spider in our light and I just saw it move.
All right.
in
Well,
there.
ignore that for now. We
How
have
am I
to
supposed to
continue.
ignore
He's just
that?
trying to
Alright.
warm up.
So what happens on Oa? He meets
Okay.
that alien.
So he starts his training to become a Green Lantern. He learns to fly with this guy who looks like a fish. He's like from another planet, whatever.
Fish guy's fine.
He's fine.
Even the big guy's
Um,
fine.
The
This
fish
is
Okay.
guy's
definitely
This
The
when we
big
start
guy.
the
You talking
ring
about the guy-
slinging 101
Yes.
training.
Hold on. That you've made it to my next
Quip
next
City.
comment. It is
I
in.
have a picture of them.
It is in quotes.
Ben.
Ring slinging.
Yeah.
Rang
Ring-
slanging.
Ring
slinging?
slinging.
Ring slinging. Yeah, these
Ring
guys.
slinging.
And
Yeah,
this
these
is
guys.
where-
Here we go.
Like
so the
this
big guy and the fish.
you said
guy.
this CGI doesn't hold up. I think this is actually not that bad.
You're right. These guys
But-
look totally
No, I
fine.
thought
But
these guys were fine. It's
When
Ryan
it
in the
shows Ryan
situation.
Reynolds in
Yeah.
the scenario, he's clearly just in a green room.
Yes.
Like this.
Yes.
Yeah.
I feel
What
like
is
they
that?
were fine. The planet was fine. When you put him in there, it's all of a sudden if I walked, it's.
You're right.
something's not
Actually,
right.
the CG of the
This
when it
looks
was just the
fine.
alien guys wasn't so bad.
I mean, it's a
it
little
was the
No,
lighting of
like,
real
right?
people
It's
in
a-
the green screen room that
And it's
looked
his
off.
eyes.
Yes.
His eyes are so weird.
Yeah.
Also, that
Like-
mask isn't hiding who he is.
And
What,
these
like,
guys don't
why is
have
that there?
masks, and their are
Yeah.
eyes aren't like glowing white.
I don't.
Yeah, none of them had masks. Why does he have a dumb mask?
So this is where a bunch of like really intense fighting music always comes on. The music in this movie is a little intense.
Oh, we did skip my comment on music during plane scene, and I like did an eye rolling.
It's also a very like heavy
It was so
metal.
weird and
like,
I have
weird.
no. This is one of the most forgettable movies we've ever
Normally, I
watched.
wouldn't even notice the music. It was bad
No,
enough
it
to
was
notice.
really bad.
Really? Okay. Huh.
So when he's doing his training, the big guy that we saw before,
Ring
he's
sling.
like doing all this stuff.
Ring
But the
slinging.
one thing he always says is he's like, "Gravity's a bitch," and he's like
He-
telling him
Don't
about
forget that.
gravity.
Don't
and
forget gravity's a bitch. I wrote down from
He's
this guy
got
ring
so many
slinging.
catchphrases.
Commit
Yeah.
to the core, and he's talking about his core, but he's also talking about the Green Lantern core, right?
Right.
A little
Sure.
pun there. He
Okay,
just
nice.
lays this little
Um,
pun on, and then gravity's a bitch.
And then this guy
Blech.
comes. What's his name?
Sinestro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he comes really quick to see how training
Like-
is. He essentially says, "You suck," and then leaves.
Can you say bad
Look at this guy. Look at how like disappointed this guy is in me right now. Like he's like, "Are you serious right now? Are you
But
being?"
he honestly, so it's day one of him being a Green Lantern. Oh no, my voice. And then he comes and he's like, "You pitiful this and that," and then he just
Yeah,
zooms away.
You
he like
stupid
right away
human.
is like, "I effing hate
I
you."
don't understand
and
why
gets
he's
out
not
of there.
helpful at all. And like they
What's
try to
the
play it off a little.
expectation?
He tries to play it off a little bit of like, well, the guy who was the previous Earth Green Lantern was his trainer, and like, I guess he's like taking it out on him that he died or whatever,
but,
and then you
like,
could
he
never
didn't
take
do-
his place. But it's just like it doesn't come off that way at all. It comes off as like this guy's just a jerk.
He's an asshole.
But his continued treatment of Hal Jordan is so antithetical to the entire premise of the Green Lantern Corps, which is that
Yeah.
the ring chooses the person to wear it.
Yeah,
Right.
So when you
So-
trust that
It's not like
system-
Ryan Reynolds picked to be in the Green Lantern.
Why on earth?
Yeah.
What like this guy's 2 cents of who should be wearing rings and who shouldn't is total BS to like
It
their
doesn't
make
core
any
value.
sense. Yeah.
It didn't make
Um,
any sense.
I
Anyway.
just this whole like it's Oa is kind of cool, and the fact that there's
Yeah.
all
It does
these
show all
lanterns
these
is
different,
like,
like some are like pixie size, some of the lanterns
Yeah.
are monsters. Like that's
It's cool
cool to show
stuff.
the different. Like,
I'm not as much a
types.
fan. I like the like you're the hero of the age or whatever. I like that like you're Luke Skywalker, you're Randall Thor, you're
You don't want
whatever.
there's like 3,000.
I don't like
heroes?
when there's like, oh, welcome, you're a hero, and join the 3,500 other of us, and it's like, well, that's not
Yeah.
that cool.
Especially when your powers are virtually unlimited, right?
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
we have hey, welcome to the other 3,599 Supermen. Let's get to work.
Right. You're just another Kryptonian. It's not like all the
Yeah.
Kryptonians died and you're the last one.
Right.
It's like, hey, welcome to the crew, buddy. Get to work.
Yeah. Yeah.
But other than that, like that stuff all looked good. You're right. Actually, all the off-Earth
okay.
stuff looked okay, and it was
It's
kind of
on
interesting.
Earth that looks
It's-
weird.
It's Ryan Reynolds specifically that
Yeah.
looks weird.
Yeah.
Not because of him. They've either got him in a
No,
green
it's because
screen
he is like clearly
or
in a
they've
weird
painted
suit.
stuff onto him
Yeah.
post filming.
Oh my
Um,
gosh, I can see from my notes what must be coming up next.
Wait, so
What
then
is
we
it?
go back to the doc. He obviously was sick. He had that bad
Yeah.
food poisoning.
Oh, the doctor. Okay.
Yeah, he's teaching class and he looks kind of sick. And then he realizes that he's like hearing thoughts of the students. One of the students says like, "Oh, he's so lame" or whatever, or thinks it. And he like Harry
It's Flash.
Potter's
This is another Spider-Man reference.
Is
It's
it?
Flash from Spider-Man. It's not actually, but
Oh,
it's a
thank God.
classic
Okay.
like bully
Yeah, it's
guy.
Jock.
I thought you
yeah.
were saying it was
Yeah.
legit, and I
It's
was like,
not.
"Are you serious?" He like Harry Potter's a kid like over his desk, like, "Whoa, did
Yeah.
I do that?" kind of thing.
assaults and batters a student.
And he's like, "Class
his
is
mind.
done." He runs to the lab, tests his blood quick, and realizes that it's like turning yellow under the microscope.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
And that's when you also find out that, like you said earlier, the politician guy who was trying to fund the AI jets
Yeah.
is his dad.
The senator. Yeah.
Is it that? Okay,
That's
I don't
right.
remember
And
what
he
it was.
kind of like confronts him, right?
Yeah, his dad is like, hey, did you see that alien? Like, all of a sudden he
How'd you like
realizes
looking at
why
that
he got
alien?
chosen for that.
Right.
Right,
He
he
set him
I
up.
don't understand why this made him so mad.
And he is
like this
pissed
is
that
wouldn't you
his
be
dad helped out.
I
He
would
is
be
so
like
mad.
super pumped that like I got this awesome opportunity because
No.
somebody I knew helped me out. Like why would I be upset about that? Doesn't make any sense. Like I'm sorry, you're trying to
But-
do everything on your
Also, he's like he has like a PhD, this and that. He's a teacher, and his dad is like, "What a fucking loser" in his head, and you're like, "I'm sorry, what? How is he a loser?"
He's not like an elementary school teacher.
I
He is like a
feel like he's
professor
doing pretty
researcher.
good.
Right.
And instead, he's like so pissed that his
God, I
dad helped
just
him.
wish my son had a supermodel wife. Why can't he be
Right.
like every other red blood? Like,
Yeah.
it
I
is
was like,
really stupid.
I feel like he's doing pretty good, and
He's-
instead he's pissed at his dad for helping him, and his dad thinks he's a loser because he's.
Well, I mean, he's a loser
doesn't
of
make
his
any
own
sense.
accord, not because of like
he
his
is a loser
accomplishments.
because he's like a creep who hates women, like you said.
right. He's a
But
yeah.
that's not even part of the discussion. In this part,
No.
it's like he's a loser because he's a teacher. I don't.
Not-
Which
I
Like-
don't know. I don't get it.
It's like
Like-
high school mentality at 40 years of age, right? Like,
Well,
yeah, it's.
And the dad's trying to help him out, but then in his head he's thinking,
He
"Man, what a
doesn't-
loser!"
Yeah,
I
like,
don't get
what is
that. Like, wouldn't
the-
you be like, "I can't believe he's not taking my offer"? Like, he's obviously trying to be nice on the outside. Why is he so mean on the inside? It's
And
weird.
also, if your dad's helping you out, who cares? Go for
right?
it.
Like,
I don't.
you know, say
Okay.
thanks and move on.
Yeah.
You know,
don't see
God
the
God
problem.
forbid you take a lead and make something of it in your life.
right.
So
you know,
that whole thing is weird. Even if he was an elementary school teacher, okay, you seem to be doing good. I don't see the
it's
problem.
like, is it the haircut? Is this all about like the
Is it the
sweatiness and the
stringy-
haircut?
I don't look. Think about how much time now we've wasted on this guy who will have zero,
Yeah. Yeah.
effect on later in the movie, right? Like this
Well,
is already a short movie,
He
and
likes
now we've
He has a
wasted.
little.
he likes Blake Lively.
Yeah, like
Sure.
And that's literally it. That's the
Yeah.
whole
he's pissed because he
book.
likes her, and
It-
she
and it's
doesn't like
not-
him. Which I'm
and
like,
it's not even clear it's because it's her. It's because she's a hot woman.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
like no hot girls like him back. Which I'm like, this is a movie about something else.
But
this
it's
is like how
still-
to make a murder.
It's still
something.
not bad yet. Like we've developed Hal Jordan as a character
Yeah,
and how he doesn't
yeah.
quite fit in with the Lanterns because he's a human and he is not.
He's the
fearless.
first human and all
Yeah.
and like yeah.
He's having struggles controlling his will, which means he can't really control his ring. Like the
Well,
Which
ring
is
is as
cool.
strong as
I
your
like
will
that.
is.
Yeah.
And he's also
And-
kind of doing the like, oh, I don't think I'm gonna do it.
And
Which is
now,
like-
right now, we're
Can you choose
building up
that?
a villain. Let's ignore Parallax for a second. We're building up a villain, right? It's this guy who also likes Blake Lively's character, and he
Carol,
got a
that's
little
right.
bit of the fear power in him.
That's
and
right. Yeah.
there's also like Sinestro wants to make a fear ring to fight against Parallax.
And there's a
Yeah, we're about
oh
to do that
boy.
right now.
like
have
there's
we-
good, but there's good stuff happening in the
could-
development
I
of
mean,
this so far.
Yeah.
It's not horrible yet.
No. Yeah.
It's that none of this is going to pay off in any way.
Wait,
That's
Yep.
where this really
goes
falls apart.
nowhere. It's just
so this is where, like you were saying, Ben, the what's his name, the red guy, what's his name?
Sinestro.
Sinestro.
He goes to all the Green Lantern guys and stuff.
There's like a council of ancient
Yeah.
Are we
like
there
ancient,
yet?
Big-brained guys.
yeah.
And he essentially says, "I'm going to take the best. We're going to go do this." And that's when they go try to catch him, and they get.
Do they?
Do I not?
You're talking about, let me share, these guys,
Yeah.
the Guardians.
I hate this.
Yeah. Right.
Because this isn't even that bad. Most of the
So they
shots of
get-
these guys are like wide zoom out of just 9 chairs in the sky while someone
Yeah.
does voiceover.
With 50-foot robes.
And
Yeah.
and 50-foot robes. And it happens at least twice where you sort of get like 90 seconds of just voiceover as it swirls around
Exactly.
these guys
So-
in chairs.
Yeah, this is where they go. He's like, they go and he finds
You're
out
right,
that
yeah.
they're like, he's fighting it with fear. And he says, well, let's make a fear ring.
Which
to
does
fight
fear
fear with
defeat
fear.
fear? Does fear beat fear? Is that how
Well,
that
fear
works?
apparently fear is powerful, so we have to use
And
fear.
that's when you find out the bad guy Parallax used to be one of those big brain guys.
Big
Right.
brain bozos.
And
Right.
he wanted
That's the
to
term
use
they use in the
fear.
movie. Big
Big brain
Is that what they
bozos.
say?
The Council of
He-
Big Brain Bozos. And there's
he
his
wanted to
chair
use
is still
fear.
there.
Yeah.
It's blown
But
up.
they didn't get
Because
rid of
they
it.
didn't want to use
They
fear.
painted
He
it
like
yellow.
went
Right.
off to
Wrote
go
Big Brain Bozo on it.
That would have been funny.
That would've-
They were
Get
like
out,
pissed.
Big Brain
They're
Bozo.
like kind of annoying because
They
anytime
are
someone is
annoying.
suggesting something, they're like, and like
Nah.
that's it, and you're like, you're
That's
not
their
helpful in any
default.
way.
Yeah.
I don't. Okay.
It's weird that they would ever become the leaders of the Lantern
They don't
Corps.
help lead anything. They just
Yeah.
sit there and kind of moan. But
What's going to be funny about this is our recap of this movie is going to be as long as the
It's
movie.
It
going to be
is.
longer, I think. But
oh, then we're back on Earth. This is the next picture. So we're at
Okay.
like a pilot event.
Here we
I don't
go.
know. So this
Are
is
we
when we
only
find
because
out.
they
here?
got
Oh my
the contract.
Okay, so
They
this
got
is
the
when we
contract.
find out that the scientist teacher guy,
oh,
the
this is
Hal,
it's this
and
guy's
Carol
mustache
all
that you're
know
worried
each
about.
other. Yes, this is the mustache
That's a
that
nice
broke all
mustache, though.
mustaches.
Right,
And
but
you're-
it really gets out of control when he becomes when he also becomes
But
big
look
brain.
at his hair. Like
Yeah, his hair
In
is the
terms of-
problem.
in
I'm
terms
sorry.
of character development, this guy needed a haircut, and it would have been resolved.
Yeah, right. Instead, he
been it.
gets. What does he get? He gets this.
No, don't do it yet.
Oh,
Oh wait, this is where though
This
they go
one
up
is
and
so
he's like, "Oh,
stupid.
hey Hal, hey blah blah blah." Like they clearly know each other since
Yeah.
they were kids. It sounds like.
I guess
Um,
it's the three of them. It's the scientist,
Yeah.
Carol, and Hal.
Why? It's not made clear
And
how they
so-
know each other, though.
Well,
It's
they say
because
something
they didn't
because
tell
Hal's
you.
dad worked
They don't
with
care.
the politician guy, and when he died, they kind of took Hal in, and this and I don't know. They all kind of their parents worked together. Anyway, so this is I really enjoy this part because this is when the politician dad they like kind of all talk.
We're finally gonna get to see
He-
some Green Lantern power.
But he's like, I gotta go. There's a helicopter about 20 feet away from a large gathering. They turn it on. First of all, the whole party would be
Yes, true.
wind, like it would be out of control. And they turn it on. They fly above the party
Like
and wave for like
like
30 seconds
tap
while.
tap the feet of the helicopter on people's like you can high five it.
Right, because we're gonna
Right.
like wave at everybody.
And he waves to be like, I gotta go. Which it's no one's hair. It would be so windy.
Right.
It would be out of control if a helicopter was
Now,
directly above you.
Does this piss off the sun? Is he the person
I
who
think
crashes
so.
the copter?
He's pissed off. So he said hi to Carol, and she was like kind of saying hi to him, but he's pissed because she's more interested in Hal, and he's a hot guy.
Right, I would
Love
be
it.
too.
Of
And-
course. Yeah, who wouldn't be?
Hey, everybody's jealous of hot people. We're
Sure,
all in the
right.
same boat.
Welcome
okay?
to the club. Yeah.
Yeah, get on board.
There is
Um,
here's a hot tip. There is no shark. It's a circle. It's not a pyramid. Everybody's
his-
jealous of everybody else.
I think his dad said something like, well, his dad thought of something that he heard at the party, right? Something like, oh,
Really?
Hal's doing great, or something that pissed him off.
Maybe this
Yeah.
is where I got Big Brain Bozo from.
Because when his dad's in the helicopter, he's pissed and with his mind, like something.
He looks at him, they make eye contact, and the
But does
dad's
something like shoot
voiceover
at the
says,
helicopter or
"This
something?
big brained bozo."
What a
I
doofus.
don't remember how the helicopter
Something
goes
happens
down.
where it goes at the helicopter and like ricochets and messes
It's
up
from him,
something.
though. It
It's
is
Does he
from
like
him.
throw a plate or something into
It
the
is
rotor?
something like that. So
Yeah.
this is when Hal has to Green
Here it
Lantern
comes.
it.
Here we
Oh,
go.
I'm pretty sure this
So the
helicopter chops
helicopter-
people up. I'm pretty sure it does.
It
It-
crashes
it
directly into the people
crashes.
who were just high fiving the bottom of the like. Dead people are in there.
Directly 20 feet up over that party. Like you said, it is a full helicopter and people are just standing there.
It's
and
just
it
like it's just like
like
wood chipper through the
Right,
crowd.
Just
But eventually, Hal Jordan, Green Lantern,
he
decides
turns
he's going to
it
do
into
something.
a
No, he doesn't turn it into. He grabs it
Well,
with
he grabs it, but I mean,
a
like
hot rod.
it's like a Hot Wheels,
Hot
race
rod.
car track.
Well, he
and so it like
right.
and
This
it
is
kinda,
the stupidest
here,
thing
I
I've
have a
ever
We
seen.
picture
haven't.
of
We
this.
actually haven't even explained. So the power of the
Go for
Green
it, though.
Lantern allows you to
Oh,
use
yeah.
your imagination
There you
to
go.
create anything.
Anything.
Anything you can think of.
Anything in your
Look at this.
wildest dreams.
Look at
you
that
can
helicopter going on that
materialize.
track.
So it starts chopping people up. He makes a Hot Wheel track onto which it slides, and then he materializes. You can sort of see it there. He
It's hard. I couldn't
materializes
find a good picture.
a hot rod into which the helicopter nests.
It's kind of like sitting.
Yeah, it nests
like it
into
kind
the
of
hot
comes
rod.
to a slow, and they're like still sitting
Right.
in it
And
after all the. But
you
I
can
mean,
see it there.
It
the
went
lantern-
like through the crowd first.
The lantern hot rod uses fuel to combust and shoots out real flames, which is interesting. That's an interesting
not
touch.
green flame.
You can see the wheel there.
Right.
So-
it's like we're trying to make it. We're trying to rebuild an image from like enhance.
Like you're
right.
Enhance. Oh, I can see what are those called?
But-
The control arms on the back tire.
Before it got to
Yeah.
this, it like straight up went through a crowd of
diced
100,
people
200
up, for
people.
sure.
Oh, for sure.
So
and then
Carol-
then he Hot Wheels it out of there. This is
But
what.
Carol almost dies, and he does like I don't
Does he
know, like a
bubble her or
bowl over
something?
her or something. Yeah, he bubbles
Okay.
her. He does the racetrack of this, and like you said, it goes into a hot rod scenario.
But the stupidest, you said it. The stupidest part about the hot rod, more stupid than that. There is a hot rod that nests a helicopter perfectly inside of it, and there's a Hot Wheels track. That's so dumb. That's
That's
when
everything.
when it parks and with the helicopter
kind of
inside
like-
of it, it's idling. It's
Yeah,
idling like like what the hell? Like why would it be doing
yeah,
that?
they're like sitting there, and they're kind of like
I don't understand. It doesn't make any sense. It's
Um,
super dumb. This is the first time we see him be a hero. This
Okay,
is what we get.
And then that other picture.
That's it.
Wait, that
I
one. So here he
hate-
is when he like picks her up.
Ugh.
Look at his eyes.
Ugh.
Look
It's the
at-
mask. The
Okay,
skin
but-
suit is fine.
The skin suit's fine.
The mask
They're
is
taking a
awful.
very handsome person, and all of a sudden I'm
Why
like,
does he
yikes!
look like that?
It's
It's
look
the
at the
eyes
bags.
and the nose and
the mask gives him like bags under the eyes.
look at how like it gives him like
Look at those
angry
eyes.
eyebrows and
Yes, they come up like I would draw a cartoon angry person. And look
Right.
at this
But
like duck
also,
nose.
why would that
This
hide
is the
his
worst
identity?
thing I've ever seen.
Like,
it
look at that.
doesn't.
If
It
someone
perfectly
had that
does.
on,
I can't tell that that's the same person. It is
That
two
looks like a
different
psychopath.
people.
It's not a good
No,
looking
it is
Ryan
two
Reynolds.
different people with and without the mask on. This is actually a
That's
perfect
true.
disguise.
It's actually
That's
working
true.
for
It looks
once.
like two.
That's
You
true.
would never think.
I'll give you
No,
that.
you would never think that's Ryan Reynolds. That it's just there's
That's
something.
true.
It
pointy
looks like
nose.
a guy trying to be Ryan Reynolds.
Right,
Yeah,
it
it,
looks
does
like a
look like a
stunt double.
dress up, like. Oh my god.
It works.
I cannot express
Okay.
how much I dislike how they show Green Lantern's powers on screen.
Oh, and everything he thinks of is the stupidest stuff. You
Just
like.
so dumb.
The requirements for being a Green
It's if
Lantern
I
are
asked
that
Calvin,
you
our
are
5-year-old.
without fear and that you have zero imagination. Despite the fact that your power is based on your ability to
Oh,
imagine things.
That's what I mean. It's like if you ask Calvin, he was like, "Well, I don't know. We could do like a machine gun. We could do like a
right. It's a kid thing.
catapult." It's only like 5-year-old things that you could think
Yeah.
of.
It's like
That's all
can't
he
you-
ever uses.
a helicopter is crashing. Like, I don't know how to say it. An adult visualizes stopping a helicopter as crashing as
Just
like,
stop it.
right? It's much more of like a
Put a
magic
top.
thing.
I don't know. Like just
it just freezes. It's not like, oh, I made jelly and now it's trapped in jelly. Right.
Yeah,
It's just
exactly.
stupid.
It's just, oh my gosh.
I hate the way
Um,
they show it.
So then the doc goes home after that little party.
Oh
He
yeah,
isn't
after
feeling
all those
good.
people were chopped in
His-
half.
His brain is
And we
getting
s-
bigger,
Right? He's
and
getting
he's
a bigger brain.
screaming at home. And the evil guy in space, the cloud monster, turns because he hears him on
Skrillex,
Earth.
yeah, he
And
senses him.
heads towards him.
Skrillex.
And then we go back to Hal is at home, and he's showing his friend the like nerdy operator. I don't know what his friend does.
I don't know.
He's showing him the costume and the ring and how it works. And apparently you have to recharge the ring.
Right, they do mention that the lantern
But it
charges
never comes
the ring.
up.
But then it never comes up again. It's not like I'm almost out.
Oa charges the lanterns, and the lanterns charge the rings. They
But
say
Which is
Why?
fine, but
That's
it never
fine.
comes up.
But it's never
comes
Yeah,
up.
he's never battling. And he's like, I'm almost
it's not
out.
like it ran out of juice at the
Yeah.
exact wrong moment, and now he has to somehow
Which
use
would
his own
create some actual tension or
ingenuity.
Yeah,
to-
because
Yeah.
at the time he's like, oh, it must be out. And he like touches the lantern to recharge it. So I don't.
Huh.
Okay, I guess that's just. We know that now. Then.
Bored of
Okay, Hal
places.
shows up as the Green Lantern to see Carol
Okay.
after he saved her. So he thinks he's going to show up as like a superhero and chit chat.
Yeah.
And so this is when she, first of all, is doing paperwork. So she's doing paperwork in a like, I'm going to go clubbing.
Oh yeah,
mini
she's
skirt.
got her
Dressed
She's got the
inappropriately
weirdest-
for the
standard Air
office.
Force
And
issue,
she's
skin
just
tight.
some
little
after
black
work
dress.
paperwork. And she
Yeah.
goes out on the balcony, aka green screen, and
Oh my
sees
God.
him.
This is
And-
worse than on Oa. The green
This
screen
is
in the
so
scene
bad.
is unreal.
And when she goes out, like within a 10 seconds, she's like, Hal? Because
Right.
the
She's
mask
not
isn't
fooled
working.
by the mask at all.
I like that. I like
I
that she
do
saw
like
right
that.
through it.
I was
Yeah.
going to be so pissed if she didn't understand.
yeah.
Like, let's be serious. So then he tells her everything about, like, this
Yeah.
happened to me, the ring,
Yeah.
the whole works. So he explains it all to her.
He can make anything with the ring. Anything.
And he makes her, like, a stupid
He makes
necklace.
her a necklace with the power of the ring.
Like,
And she's like, like he could have made like a freaking jumbo jet fly into her building or something. Like
and
I
this
could
one,
make,
and this one,
he
unexplainably,
can make her a Hot Wheels car that drives on a hot. It's been
Do I
the
have
proven that he
necklace
can
is
do
like
that.
a real necklace, though. It's not
yeah,
just
I
his
didn't
imagination.
understand that. I was like, how does this stay?
It
Does
actually
stay?
materializes as a
How?
I don't know why.
sure a
Wasn't a-
hideous, massive green necklace that she has on
The
for the
big-
rest of the movie.
Oh,
Ugh.
okay. Then we cut back to Big Brain. So Big Brain is having a hard time breathing.
Brain.
We know
He-
first of all we are told that he's really turning evil because we show from a shot from the ground his toes have now turned in.
Yes,
This tells you he is evil.
signature.
Right? All
Uh,
heroes stand with the feet toes out,
Right,
He.
toes
In.
in.
toes
So
in.
yeah, it
That's
shows
only
him
girls
walking
trying to
like
be
that.
cute or evil villains.
So
Right, or both.
the FBI lady who originally came to get him
It's basic.
comes back to his apartment.
Oh, you know who that is? It's Amanda Waller, which is the woman who orchestrates the Suicide Squad.
Oh,
Squads.
really?
Oh my
Parentheses.
That's
S?
crazy.
Yeah, that's who that. So this was their first take on that.
Okay. Well, she comes in, but my favorite part is she comes in and she's like, "Hey, doctor,
Hey, what's
blah blah
up?
blah," and she's like, "We just want you to come with us." She not once says anything about his appearance, and
Yeah.
you need to show the picture of what he now looks
god.
like.
He looks like this.
Yeah.
And she is just like, "Hey, do you want to hang? You want to go get a cup of coffee?"
I don't know. Let me stop you guys right there. Do you think it's appropriate to comment on someone else's appearance in the workplace? I don't think
The last
so.
time
It-
I saw
listen,
them,
if
they looked
it-
different.
If today I
Yes.
talk to you, Ken, and you look like you do now, and the next time I come to talk to you, you look like this, I would
go,
I would
probably
tell
say
you-
"Holy
something.
shit!"
Shut
when-
your mouth. I'm fine.
But you can say that back to me.
Yeah, but I'm gonna
I'm
comment.
still gonna say like, bro,
Whoa.
WT.
And I'm
TF.
going to go to HR and I'm going to
So-
tell them what you said.
So they bring him back to the lab, and this part, his dad.
why didn't anybody say anything?
But
though?
But here's the thing:
My
his
God,
dad is there
look at
too,
him.
and they're like, "Oh my God, we want to help you." And this is when he says, "I've never felt better," which I want to go.
You don't
I
look
would
like- yeah.
double check that a little bit. So
That
they're gonna help
forehead
him.
looks so hot. You can feel how hot that forehead is.
And his hair is
almost
getting
like this forehead.
greasier and greasier, though. It is like,
Yeah.
ugh. So he loses his mind because he wants to stay powerful, I guess.
I guess.
And because he can like move objects now, he makes one
Yeah.
of the doctors like stab himself in the neck. And the lady, I don't know, he like smashes her up
He
against
throws
something.
her
All
and
this stuff
she-
happens.
He's like
yeah.
killing people.
He's killing people. Hal shows up and they get in a fight, but
But
Hal
why
is
does
clearly...
Hal? How did Hal know to come there?
I think
Shows
that-
up out of nowhere, I think.
I think the ring like glows. So I'm
Did it?
assuming it just kind of like
Yeah,
takes
but,
him
like,
to a problem.
No,
never
you're right.
really-
It does a little like
I don't know though.
The ring glows and he just shows up.
Yeah.
Like, first of all, he is in charge of Sector 31, whatever,
That's
56. It's an
3600,
entire
galaxy.
Milky Way galaxy.
And this is the only problem that the ring has.
I
found
mean,
so far.
Apparently, there's an
It
issue
is-
down the street.
It's from Skrill. It's it's a Skrillex kid though. So if
That's
there was
true.
going to be an
Uh-huh.
issue, this would be what the ring pointed you at in theory. But you're right. He like shoots through a window completely unannounced and like
it doesn't make
I think
sense.
it beeps. It does a little boop boop. And then I assume
Down the
it,
block, there's a problem.
it must just the ring just must like rip him towards the
I'm
problem.
assuming. Yeah,
I
I'm assuming it
guess.
just takes him there, right?
It's like Thor's hammers him.
Yeah.
But like he has no control over
Right.
it.
It's just
He's-
taking him.
He's doing real bad in this fight, though. Like, he's getting beat up, and he gets hit once, and then he acts like he's about to die. Where he,
Yeah.
like, lays there forever, and it's like, and then the bad guy lays next to him, like, for fun.
They're
He gets
laying
his
next
ass
to
beat
each
by
other.
The bad guy.
Right?
They're
He's
laying
laying
next to
next
each
to
other
him.
like they just made love, and
It's
like
really weird.
and they're like
And they're
talking
kind of
through it.
chit-chatting.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think he puts the ring to his forehead, which I'm like,
Something
when has that been a
weird.
power?
Yeah.
And I think he finds out, like, what his plans are, or that there's a bigger bad guy. Like, he sees some sort of
He gets a
finds
glimpse
out
of
Skrillex is
Skrillex.
coming.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
And
know-
then Big Brain runs off, though, after that. Like, Hal opens his eyes and Big Brain's gone. His dad, though, he put his dad up in, like, the loft, and, like, apparently there were torches up there, and, like, torched him to death. Because
Oh yeah, he roasted his dad.
He
You're right,
roasted
yeah.
his dad up there. He is completely dead.
He's
like,
cooked.
but also nobody mentions him again. Not like
The
"Geez,
senator
that
or
was
whatever it
horrible."
is. Yeah.
Right.
He's dead.
Yeah.
But why are there so many torches in the lab?
I don't.
You
I
gotta
just like.
Roast
Like on
bodies.
arms. I feel
What
like
have
they were
we
like
seen?
flame.
We saw Hal Jordan become the Green Lantern. We saw him get beat up by his trainers. Then
Yep.
we saw him make a
Hot wheel car.
Hot
Yep.
wheel car racetrack, and then he shows up to fight his first real bad guy.
He got hit
gets his-
once and he was like
just
down.
gets completely
Knocked out.
destroyed. He's
He's
just
done.
laying on the ground. I don't know why.
For quite a long time.
Why is he just
yeah.
laying there? Why are they laying? Why is he laying down?
I don't know. He acts like
Like you could totally say, well, he's like being mentally constrained by the other guy, but I don't think that's made very clear.
It's not
that that's
no,
what-
conveyed.
and you don't
No.
really know.
Yeah.
Like, is he physically stronger with the ring? I'm assuming.
Not clear.
I
You
don't
need
know.
a strong will. You need a strong will.
Yeah, but does the will?
But
No,
like, if he gets
you got a good point,
punched,
Emily. Right.
he-
If he gets punched,
is
he
he
just gets
hurt?
punched.
Is it
Or
like
is he like a
human
human?
getting punched? I'm not
Yeah.
sure.
Or does he have like a shield with?
I don't know. Maybe he can suck the stormlight out of all of his gems,
There
and
you
that
go.
heals him.
Yeah.
The
you think
lantern.
so?
You
Right.
should.
It's
if-
like when
if you-
Kaladin loses his powers and he has to use
stop,
that.
Stop. But for real, if the ring is charged by the lantern, wouldn't you just have the lantern on your belt? at all
Yeah.
times?
Why would I
too.
ever put it down?
What
right?
if it? I don't know.
I would have a hook on my belt for the
Right.
lantern. Why
Okay.
doesn't he just hold it up like this? You know,
So
can the
then-
lantern make
Well, I
things,
think you
or
I
can
don't know.
wield it. I think you can hold both, and you do like a.
Do you open the window
But
of the
also,
lantern?
if the lantern gets broken, are
And
you
then
done
Willem
so?
Dafoe comes out, and he makes you drink kerosene.
and he's like laughing. and-
Right.
Okay, so in between all this shit, I think the big guy is getting stronger. And they made the fear ring, right? And when they make
This is
Also in
this
between
is
this,
so
sorry.
stupid.
also in between this, Carol and his nerdy tech friend talk to him about he's like, I don't want to be the Green Lantern anymore. This sucks, blah blah blah. And Carol's like all mad and she's like, what's the problem? And being like telling him he's being a little bitch and stuff, right?
Mhm,
Like she gives him a
mhm.
little mini pep talk. Then
the
hold on. The red guy is like, we got the fear ring, and he's telling the
Yeah.
priests or whatever the hell their names are,
another ring was
like,
forged.
we have the ring.
That's
and
what I was
all
gonna
of
say.
a sudden,
They
yeah,
way back earlier, they talk about making a first yellow ring,
yeah.
and they're like, it was a total bust. That's why Skrillex exists.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah,
then this
and then
guy's
they
like,
make one.
what about a second ring?
Yeah, I don't get it.
Like, what'll go
I know.
wrong?
Wasn't that
You
the
know?
whole issue? I don't. Why are we back to this?
Yo,
Like, what the hell?
Yo,
So-
what about
They're
a second
immortal
ring?
beings. They're immortal beings. Why do they seem like they don't really care? Like, why do they seem like they're the
Or like-
bad guys?
They
Right.
don't care at all. They
do
literally
feel like
are
the bad
like,
guys.
yeah.
Actually, you're right. They do feel like the bad guys.
Like, every time they come to them with a problem, they're like, and he's like,
I
could we
don't
could make
know.
another one of the
and
bad
then he
guy
says
rings? And
second
they're like,
ring, and
sure,
they
I'm
green light. Yeah.
right.
Yeah,
They're
I
like,
don't-
yeah. Who fucking cares? Like, sure, whatever.
They're the bad
So-
guys.
he is.
Go for it.
He's
Get
talking
nuts.
about it, and Hal flies in, and
That's
all of a
right.
sudden he's giving a big speech
Oh my
about
gosh.
how you need to fight fear and you don't give in and all this crap, which is like, what the hell are you talking
Where's
about?
this coming from? You know,
And
like,
then-
did he?
It
he
doesn't
hasn't-
make sense. I mean,
There's no. Well,
Good
there's
old
no
man.
reflection. There's no reflection on like his freak out in the plane in the beginning, where he got scared,
yeah,
he
they
hasn't
don't.
walked through that at
No.
all. He hasn't grown. So his
No.
speech is kind of hollow in a lot of ways.
This is where we have switched from one movie to another.
Yeah,
Up
all of a sudden
until-
we're at a different.
Up
yeah.
until now,
Yeah.
the movie has been going somewhere with lessons to be learned. The main
No.
characters have room to grow, and
Yeah.
something is going to happen. We have been focusing on Hal Jordan and what he needs to learn. We've been focusing on the reasons why the bad guy is the bad guy, not Skrillex, the Earth bad guy.
Big brain.
And
Big
they
brain
have
bozo.
a fight where Green Lantern is immediately defeated in about 2 seconds. They look at each other in the eyes, and we do some sort of time jump to a different movie, at which Hal Jordan like teleports to Oa instantly,
Yep.
gives some bullshit speech that makes zero sense about anything that's happened previously.
Yeah.
Well,
Like,
because
I wrote- what did I
he
write
knows
down here?
nothing about a yellow ring. He knows nothing about what they've been doing on Oa.
Right? He hasn't overcome any of his like
Nothing.
problems.
Personal issues, anything like that.
Right.
But-
I wrote what's happening. That was the fight with the one big brain guy. And then
Yeah.
the next thing I write is let's jump 20 steps to the speech.
Yeah.
That's what
Yep. Yeah.
He does the speech,
Yeah.
but then also he's on that planet and he's like, "Let me try to defeat him," which is like, yeah, what are you doing here? Like,
Yeah,
get
that's
back
your
to
job.
Earth.
That's
Why
your post.
are you here?
Get,
Like,
you're not
Right?
even at
Get
your
back there.
effing post.
Just
and
give me a
he's
chance to
there.
fight him. Why
He's
are
like,
you
let
here?
me try. Get out of here. Go back home.
This is it.
I
The
don't get
movie-
it.
This is where the movie. I just don't like. It was like they didn't. They skipped a whole something. I don't. They just.
It was like Carol told him to not be a douche, and all of a sudden he was like, "You're right." But also the thing is, like, if he eats off fear, I don't think you can control fear. I don't. The
Right.
whole being like, "I won't be afraid." Well, I can be afraid but still do something. That's different than not.
Sure, that's
I don't
courage,
know.
right? That's
So I just want to be
maybe
like,
that's
how can
another-
you not have fear? I can have fear and still. I don't.
It-
I don't understand how I don't get my soul sucked out
It's
due to fear.
It's fine. It's
I don't.
fine if that like you go back
Guess you'll
to
never be a
Hal
Green
Jordan's
Lantern.
strength needs to come from
Yes,
his
I'm-
will.
I'm not in the
Right?
running.
Like he can only control. He's only
Get
as
it.
strong as his will, and we need to see him somehow develop that will over the course of the movie. We don't.
No,
he
you
gets
don't.
his ass kicked, and then he gives
No.
a speech about how he needs a chance to try to defeat this bad guy who's defeating all the other Green Lanterns. Like, why are you gonna win?
These are Green Lanterns.
Well, it's
that have been
also
Green
his
Lanterns
mission.
for like thousands of years, though.
This
they got
is his-
sucked up in an instant.
If he's a beat cop, this is
Ugh.
like some issue on his beat, and instead of pulling over kids street racing, he rushes into the chief's office and says, "Give me the chance to take these kids down and pull them over for speeding." And it's like, that's why you're there.
Yeah, like why
You're
are you in
supposed to
my
do it.
office? Get back.
But
to...
let's say he was bad at doing that because
Sure.
he had. Well, let's go back to
Saved
the
a
movie.
helicopter with a
He has
Hot
a
Wheel
problem
car.
with
I'll be right
fear, and they don't like that he's the first human ever Green Lantern, and humans are a young
Sure.
race or whatever. Okay, so what happened in the movie that said that humans can be good Green Lanterns? What is the trait of humans that says they're good Green Lanterns? Does it ever come up? What did Hal Jordan do to overcome his fear?
Nothing.
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 Right? Like it's like they skipped a part. It's like there was a part of the movie that
Maybe there
made,
was. Maybe there was.
Right?
Maybe the good part, the
Oh,
turn.
this guy knows what's up.
Von Rent, my man.
Sorry.
Me too. That's what I always say.
Yeah.
I think maybe. I mean, I don't think there is, but maybe there's a whole chunk of this movie. Maybe there's 20 minutes where we have a character arc for him, right?
Somewhere
Well,
there must
you have
be.
to, like, and even in the most stereotypical way, you need Blake Lively to like walk away from him, right? Because he has shown he hasn't grown. He needs to be confronted with some other thing that makes him to realize, hey, I'm going to lose her, or I'm going to lose this planet, or I've got a responsibility because I have this power. Like that core fulcrum for the character is not there.
It's in the director's cut. Maybe.
Come on.
Since
is it really? All right.
I don't think so.
I'm sure it's on YouTube.
There is an extended cut. I can't imagine that it actually resolves any of these issues.
I wouldn't think so.
Because but the thing is like you're telling the most classic, like age-old hero story, and you even told that wrong. Like the story we already all know what's going to happen, and you just skip some of it. It's so dumb. Like we can talk about the rest of this movie, but it doesn't matter. Like the only thing that's really worth talking about is like, remember when that guy said gravity's a bitch? Well, it's going to come back to bite. It's going to ring a bell now in Hal Jordan's head.
Oh,
Let's get dumb old
if you
Skrillex.
thought what we've talked about so far, if you thought that was boring and forgettable, the last act is the least interesting part of the movie.
Who even cares?
By a
we don't even need to
landslide.
talk about it. That guy shows up on Earth, starts sucking people's souls.
We're not there?
I'm sorry.
All right.
We're not quite there.
I want to talk about like what does he use the ring
there.
to do against the bad guy?
Oh, we're gonna get to that when he fights Skrillex with the ring.
So this is when all of a sudden we cut back to Big Brain. He's looking really rough now. At this point, his brain's so big he's in a wheelchair.
I forgot about this part.
He's like hanging out.
Which is not how wheelchairs work. As far as I'm not a doctor, but big brain disease does not get a wheelchair.
Sorry, my chair is messing up.
This stream has now a longer runtime than the movie, by the way.
I'm sorry. He has Carol knocked out, and she's like floating in the air and this and that.
Mm-hmm.
So he's like making a deal with Hal and blah, blah, blah. He's trying to get rid of Hal. I guess I don't understand what his goal is either. Just to defeat him?
I don't know.
Because he's
another forgettable...
the hot guy that Carol likes. Hal offers him the ring in exchange for Carol. Big Brain takes it because he wants like the power of the ring and all that stuff. He like shoots a blast and then he shoots another blast and he like gets shot backwards into like the wall. Then, because he's like using a bunch of magic, the big alien cloud guy
remember
breaks into the lab.
Why the ring didn't work for him though, because the ring chose Hal, not him. Like it's not like you can just grab the ring and use it.
But I mean, he only uses it like twice, and it just kind of shoots him around. Like it's nothing too crazy.
Yeah, and that's it. Like okay. Then why did we spend the first 2/3 of the movie building up a character that then like you hand him the ring and he just dies?
I would have rather it doesn't work at all. Like nothing. Not like it can shoot little blasts.
It's super dumb.
Should be nothing.
It's like nothing. It's so nothing. It's just like so dumb.
But the alien cloud guy, it's like he can like smell what's his name.
I legitimately was like, this movie is not D-list material until we get to this final act. And like the whole rest of this movie is just so shitty.
Big Brain crawls out of his like hole in the wall he just made. Cloud guy comes in and just immediately starts like sucking his soul out.
Which is weird that previously he was like as big as planets, and now he fits in an airplane
like
hangar.
a small,
Like
small
what's going on with that?
How
did he? Ken, we were just talking about how Skrillex is planet-sized until he shows up and he fits in an airplane hangar.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean,
so he fits
He's
in.
and
He
he's
sucks out the soul of the guy who before he was like, get rid of the Green Lantern. He kept kind of like whispering shit to him. And now he was like, yeah, whatever. He eats
That's what you
him.
get.
He turns into like his bones fall and the lantern ring is still on it. Which I'm like, wouldn't he have like.
Oh, really? It was on
Suck-
the skeleton?
It was on the skeleton.
Oh, my God.
Was it?
Which is
Oh,
also
wow.
like,
Missed
yee,
that.
I don't know if we. So then
Out of
Hal goes to
respect
get
for
the
the
ring.
dead, I don't want to be a Green Lantern anymore.
Hal goes to get the ring. Carol jumps to the backside of the office and whips out the computer and starts hacking. And she makes one of the jets in the airplane hangar.
All the
shoot.
AI jets. So this is why we
Yeah.
had AI
Oh,
jets
that's
in the beginning. So they
right.
could
She
fly
has him
us.
Finally,
shoot
what a
some missiles at
payoff.
what's his name, which I'm like, is he physical?
He is like a
Like,
galactic
he can,
monster.
That's the thing.
But like
yeah,
a
this,
missile hurts him. I don't quite.
But
But
it-
also he was like sucking the life
There's
out of
no
Hal,
rules.
but
There's no
apparently not
laws.
quick
there
enough.
are no rules about Green Lantern
Um,
power or Skrillex or anything. It's
nothing.
just
So Skrillex heads
Like,
to L.A. He just heads out the window.
This is where we're
This is
falling
when
apart.
shit gets
This
crazy.
is so dumb. This is
this
like
is the
so
worst part of the movie.
So I think I have a picture. Do we have a picture?
He goes
do not have a
downtown.
picture.
He's gonna hit the club.
What's next?
Oh man.
Next is
Whoa,
just
that's
that's
rough.
it.
No.
That's it? Oh, I didn't
man.
have- okay.
We do have Parallax, but here
No,
he
that's-
is. This
There
is
he
him eating Big Brain. I think. Look, you
Is
can
he?
see he's in the airplane. hangar.
Okay, yeah. So
Yeah.
there he is doing his thing.
There's Skrillex.
He goes to. I don't know if they're in L.A. I'm just saying that.
Yeah,
but
no, we'll roll
they-
with it.
They go to L.A. and he is like he looks like if you did like a foam.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like if you
Yeah. Oh yeah.
like did a foam by like a miniature buildings and it was like and like filling
Yep.
up all the cracks. You know exactly
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
Right.
He's doing that.
Foam
He's literally
insulation.
eating
Spray
like
insulation.
thousands of
Yeah.
people. They're just poofing.
Oh
He's
yeah.
sucking souls left
Right.
and right.
Yep.
He's killing everyone.
He's almost killed as many people as the helicopter did at this point.
No, dude, this guy chews through 100,000 people.
He goes through
No
tons
doubt.
of people. Like,
no doubt.
yeah. So
Yep.
then Green Lantern finally shows up, and he thinks of
Alright.
shit like
Here we
catapults,
go.
He ate
Shields.
100,000 people.
missiles. Like
Yeah.
his thing is like doo doo doo.
It's
doo,
like an
doo,
anti-aircraft gun.
This is what I was saying. I hate the way they show his power. This
Like
is
he doesn't just do a giant
bullshit.
cage or something. Like just
And
anything else.
Skrillex hawks like a fear loogie at him at one point. He like,
yeah.
and you think of a goddamn catapult to
Yeah,
catch
it
the
like
loogie
shoots it back.
and then throw it back. That's what happens.
Yes. It's so stupid.
So dumb. It's
Like-
so dumb.
You've
This,
got,
though,
the requirements
when
to be
he
a Green Lantern
remembers.
are to have no imagination whatsoever.
Yeah. But this is when he remembers his training. Training 101. Gravity's a bitch.
Gravity's
so
a bitch.
he heads into space and he chases Hal.
How does he get him to chase him?
I think he just keeps shooting him and like runs out and he's like,
Well, that
"I
was going to
gotta
be my
get ya."
question. Because
I think
why
he
would
just says, "I need
Skrillex
to
not
catch
eat
the
this
Green
entire
Lantern."
planet real quick
right.
and then
Right.
go after him?
I
Oh,
don't
he
know.
He knows
chases
there's
him.
Green
Stupid.
Lanterns out there. There's 3,500 Green Lanterns out there.
Right.
What's
don't
this
know.
guy about?
But he follows him.
You know why? Because
Um,
he used a catapult to catch my loot.
Right.
he was pissed
And he
about
threw
that
it back at him.
catapult.
He got a fear loogie on his face, and now he's pissed.
Um,
They're like surprisingly, they get to the sun very quick.
they get to the
Like
sun.
it's not like Earth was right next to it.
whatever. I'm okay
Yeah.
with that.
And this is when he's like, larger objects will get sucked into the sun. blah, blah,
gravity's
blah.
harder on bigger
Oh my god, I
objects.
forgot about this entire part.
Yep.
This is so
And
stupid.
so what's he think of? He
The
thinks
way
of,
the big
imagines-
cloud monster
he
looks in
imagines
space.
like two jets or
Jets.
missiles, and he's hooked up to skis on those jets. So the jets are going
Are
away
you guys
from the
talking
sun.
about the quote from my notes, jet chariot?
There you go.
Yes.
Yes. He's hooked
creates a
onto
jet
skis
chariot.
from there. So it's like, what's his name is his back to the sun. Even
He's
though
doing
a cloud
like
monster.
this power, like this
Yeah.
Oh, I'm under such stress. As
Yeah.
jets are pulling him
he's, like,
backwards.
jetting like he's very like a ski performance like kind of
Right.
thing, and he's doing this, but he's also getting sucked. Also, he's way too close to the sun. You'd be burned up like that. Like you'd be done.
Yeah.
But whatever. And I think I don't know. Does he say gravity's a bitch? Does he quote
I don't
it?
know if he says it.
I don't
I'm
know
not
if he
sure.
quotes it.
I
But
hope
we
he
all are
does.
thinking it.
That's it.
Yeah.
So, what's his name gets just burnt up by the sun?
Burned up in the
roasted.
sun.
Which are you telling me? No other lanterns thought of this.
And
Not one other
this,
lantern
like-
who's been
They
around for thousands of years.
They
was
didn't
like,
know about
should
jet
we...
chariots. They're not from Earth.
This like cross galaxy world eating creature can just burn up in a star. That seems like he would do that on accident.
Or wouldn't it be like he eats the fucking sun and he just like
Right.
becomes something?
I don't know, guys.
He can eat souls, but the sun is a little too hot? Are you serious?
I honestly don't know.
So Red Green Lantern guy who looks evil comes and is like, "Hey, you're not too bad.
Hey, sorry, I
Okay,
made a second
nice
ring."
job." Like, then back on Earth, like Hal and Carol are
Hooking up?
they're hooking up, and she, like you said, Ken was like, "Can we like not do the mask?" Like when they kiss, she's like, "Ugh."
Is
Can we,
that
like...
when this finally happens?
That's when she's like, "Can we like take that off?" And he does, but then like you said, after he kisses her, he's like,
puts
"Bloop,"
it back
and he's
on.
like-
He puts it back on.
and then he's like, I might be gone for a while because I have to like do the whole district of the galaxy,
Yeah.
which is like, okay, I guess I won't see you for years. I don't. This is not a like.
And also the ring, we've shown that the ring like pages you. So
Yeah.
I don't think you do need to leave.
Yeah. Yeah. Won't it tell you when
Yeah.
like District 9 over there, like zzz, when you zoom away
Right.
or something?
We've
I don't know.
shown that it pings you and then pulls you there physically.
gosh.
So
But
All
then,
right.
all of a sudden he's like, I should check the perimeter, which is like, you haven't checked it in a.
Does he take off the lanterns always take off chest first? I don't know if you guys have noticed that. Every
Yes.
lantern when they start to fly, they fly with its chest.
Oh, I didn't know what you
I
meant
don't know
by...
why the chest leads, but that's how
Why?
lanterns fly.
you gotta make your
I don't know.
flyers.
I'm gonna ask you guys a couple of
differentiate from
questions.
Superman.
But wait, but
right?
at the very end is when it's like weird. That's when the heavy metal music comes back on. It's really bad music. And it's like way too intense heavy metal and he's like zooming around the earth and that's it.
And that's it.
But I don't the music is always like it sounds like a weird video
What a
game.
shitty
It's
movie.
way over the top.
I
of-
can't
but
I can't express how fast he dispatches Skrillex. From the time he catches the loogie
yeah.
to the point he's thrown into the sun, 90 seconds. I
Right.
would guess.
Yeah.
It's over before it starts.
The whole like final act of the movie is like 7 minutes.
Yep.
Even though
It's so
the
short.
whole Green Lantern planet was like making a ring, trying to defeat. They took the best of the best. They all got murdered. All this stuff.
I bet it's 5 minutes.
And he was like, "Should we fly the sun?"
Well,
Like,
and that's
we
the thing.
just-
Like he uses his imagination to create Earth-made jets to save
Catapult?
him and a
yeah, that doesn't make
catapult.
sense either.
Like,
Like skis in a jet chariot. Yeah.
All right. I wrote down 2 things here. I already said them, but
All
I'm
right,
going to ask
all
you guys
right,
these
all right.
Go for
questions. There are 2 main issues that are presented in the beginning of the movie. One is to be a Green Lantern, you need to be fearless, and the main bad guy uses fear as his power. 2,
Sorry.
there's an issue with Hal being the first human, a young race, Green Lantern.
Yeah.
So let me ask you 2 questions. At the end of the movie, how did Hal Jordan overcome his fear?
didn't.
He didn't.
How did being a human help him defeat the
Didn't.
enemy? These are 2 things I wrote.
I
down.
mean, I guess apparently the answer is catapults and F-35s.
Yeah. Jets.
You know, whatever they are.
like this movie is bad.
It's really.
didn't
but
understand
it's also
because-
so vanilla.
What?
It's
What?
so devoid of any character or creation, or it's bad, but it's also nothing at all.
Right. It's nothing in bland vanilla, and then the chocolate at the bottom of the cone was. Turns out
Air?
the cone was leaking all over.
That
you
was
the whole
all.
time.
It was air, and your pants are ruined.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shit. Well, that is the thing. Once he was like, I can do this, he still was scared. So I didn't understand how he didn't have fear to get his soul sucked out or whatever. It was like, you're still afraid. You're just
Did the
trying to
I don't know.
not
What makes Hal Jordan a good Green Lantern?
don't know.
don't
Couldn't
know.
tell you.
nothing. It was that
Did
he had the will to try. I feel like I
Did
don't.
Skrillex ever try to take his soul?
Yeah, he did in the airplane hangar, but that's when the jets like shot him
So
with the
we
missiles.
so we never even get a
He
chance.
did try by the sun too, but you know he got sucked in the sun.
Yeah, but
He's
like
bigger.
he used that's like a cheat code, right? He used the
Yeah.
jets to get out of there. You never have a chance to show that Hal Jordan maybe can't have his soul sucked out, right? Because there is no
But I
fear
mean, it
or
took
there is no
longer in the airplane hangar. I think it was a
Yeah.
good like 15 seconds of him being like fighting it. But
But
it didn't make sense because
he
it was
never
like you
uses
are.
the lantern power well.
No,
no,
he
Jet,
didn't.
unless we're
he
talking about
didn't
jet
use
chariots.
The power.
which
We're
is
talking
like,
about
oh my
catapults
god.
and jet chairs, and he had like a Captain America shield or like shit like that.
Can
you're
you
like,
imagine if this was like a
anything
comic book
else.
run and you bought these every week or every month for like 12 months
Oh
straight
my
and then
goodness! You'd be
Jet
like,
Chariot
what?
is your
Are you kidding me? It's a full page frame too. The jet chariot.
and it's like, yeah, that's the
All right.
crescendo.
Let's wrap this up, guys. I don't want to talk about the Green Lantern anymore.
Yep. Don't watch it. Stupid,
Man,
dumb, waste
it's
your
so
time.
Bad.
All right. So let's end the show with another Decanter
Ooh.
banner, sponsored by Decanter Banner. What is one essential must-have for your charcuterie board?
Jeez.
Pistachios?
Pistachios.
Well,
I like the meat, but I feel like there needs to be some cheese.
I like a meat, cheese, fruit, and cracker bread.
That is a charcuterie board. So what's the
No
must-have?
olives? No
Ooh.
no
My
nothing
must-have is
pickled
cheese.
or
Like if the meat isn't there, I'm disappointed, but I can live. If the crackers aren't there, I'm disappointed, but I can live. But if all of a sudden someone said we're out of cheese, I go, what do you want me to do?
Eat the rest. If the cheese ran out, there's still a lot on there I would like.
But like the one thing that runs out, what would you be most disappointed about?
The meat.
Okay, so for you,
no,
meat is the must.
nonsense. The cheese.
It's the cheese.
Although-
You're wrong, but it's the cheese.
It's not
Well,
a
a
must
good
have.
cheese. A good cheese is better than a good meat. Like
Yeah.
a great cheese.
Yes.
Exactly.
It's
Yes.
like artisanal. It's crafted.
Yeah, so I think cheese is the must.
dry.
And then you build things around the cheese, right?
My mouth is
Yeah.
like watering thinking
You're
about
like
it.
Yeah,
dying
I'm
right
hungry.
now.
You know, not a must have, but a nice to have instead of crackers. I think it's at Witchcraft Tap by you guys. They give you that like toasted little, might just be a French baguette or something,
Ooh, that's
Oh
good.
yeah.
like half-inch slice. That's
Yeah.
really nice, and it's
Oh,
toasted
gosh.
instead
I'm
of
gonna have to
a
eat
cracker.
It's like having
Yeah.
trouble.
This is like
And the goat
We do have
cheese and
good
like the
cheese,
jam
too.
on there.
Oh,
Holy cow!
I saw someone the other day do
Holy
like
cow.
balsamic strawberries with the cheese, a
Oh.
goat cheese in a cracker, or like bread.
Forget
like you said, it was
about
like
it.
a toasted, and I was like, oh
stop.
my god.
Stop right now. Stop. All right, we got one more. Okay. What's a job or career path you almost took, and if you could take it now, would you?
Hmm.
Do you hear a cat?
Emily, what's a job or career path you almost took, and if you could take it now?
I almost took that. Makes it sound like I was offered
That's
it. And
yeah.
I was
that's
like,
pretty.
No,
Or
that's
almost
different than me
wanting to
being like,
pursue.
should I? have-"
Right, that's kind of like that's an interesting question for somebody like, well, like a lot of us here, right? Where like I went to school to be a chemical engineer, and now I am one, and there was never anything in between of like, do you want to do something else?
Were you thinking of? You were thinking though of like computer engineering, right?
Yeah, I mean, I
Or
started
computer
like
science or
maybe I'll do
something?
computer science. If I could be a computer science
Would you have
instead of an
switched?
engineer right now, maybe.
Wow,
Yeah,
you
I mean,
sound
you
like
basically
You
you're
could
are.
make a lot
last.
more money. A really good
Yeah.
computer programmer can make a lot
Yeah.
more money than a really good engineer.
Yeah.
Man, you're just a loser engineer.
Yeah.
I got my brain. Get that out of
Boo-hoo.
here.
I was
Cat, you have
almost a material science engineer. I was
Okay.
almost
That's
a
true, yeah.
metallurgical engineer. Had the chance. I don't think I had an offer, right?
Well, that's the thing. There's a difference
That's a
between
big
like I was like,
difference.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
have to pass that, and
But then we-
just going for it.
Took the law school route, and I'm super glad I did not stay in engineering.
That's-
Super
No
duper
turning
glad.
back.
Yep.
Em?
I didn't have like close calls necessarily. I was originally gonna go for film and directing,
There you
but that's
go.
a totally
Could you
different.
make a better Green Lantern?
Yes.
Yes.
I could.
Yes.
But I mean, that is a whole different, like, all of a sudden I would have to be going to, New York or LA or Chicago, like
Right.
major cities, and then have gone from there. And like, it's a totally different path, which is why I ended up switching to other things. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's not like I was like offered things. I almost got an intern in LA for something. And
Really?
I stupidly turned it down.
Emily. Should have taken it.
Is that a
Shut
true
up.
story?
It's the one thing. It was for someone I know who works doing like commercials with sports and like
Whoa.
big companies in LA doing things. So she works with a lot of like NBA players and this
Oh,
and
man.
that. And I could have done an intern and all this stuff, and then I like passed it because of something stupid, I'm sure. And then missed something else, and then I was like, oh, never mind. But now I'm like, why would I not have like?
Get her on the horn. Tell her you want
Yeah.
it. You want another chance.
Ready to go.
My family still knows her, but I doubt she's working.
Get her
anymore.
on the horn.
Yeah. Live
All
It's
right.
one of
right
those
now.
things that would have been cool.
Yeah.
Nick, the audio
We'll patch
engineer,
her
can
in.
you get her?
Yeah,
Dialed
here,
in.
let me get it. Let me patch her in to the call. Hold on a
Okay,
second.
we have unknown caller on
Yeah.
line 2.
Would have been nice though.
All right, and with that, I think we'll wrap up this D-list discussion. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Everybody who's watched this on the YouTube video or on the Twitch recap, and anybody who's listening to the audio. Catch us again in 2 weeks for a regular Date Night Dice podcast episode, and maybe in between now and then you can catch us streaming Gloomhaven to Twitch and YouTube, or catch the recaps on YouTube. I have no doubt we'll play Gloomhaven between now and the next podcast. And until next time, for all of us here at the Date Night Dice Studios, have a good night.
Good night.